Way too many buttons to push here. Good morning and welcome to the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show from the Smoke and Mirrors Network. Coming up, Randy Weldon and the Mustang Club of America. I got to drive the Ford F-150 Lightning. I'll give you my impression of it. We'll also have the cruise-in calendar and later Chris Harto with Consumer Reports on how new emissions laws will affect every one of us. Conrad has This Week in Auto History, and I'll bring you the stories making automotive news headlines. It's all just ahead on the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Howdy, along with Mike Out of This World Mars, Mr. Wires, King Conrad DeLong. We always need more Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. Thank you very much for joining us. It's been a rather confusing last hour as we sat here and discussed the problems of the world.
And rebooting.
Solved them. Mm-hmm. And then we talked about Bud Light. So we kind of finished it up with that. So we can continue.
Very apropos.
We can continue talking about Bud Light.
Nope.
That's what Randy Weldon likes to drink.
No. Shaking his head.
That's what I've been drinking, but there's a good chance that I'll change.
There you go. Because there's a lot of
choices out there.
Beer manufacturers out there.
A lot of choices, but I got to tell you guys, my Chief Wahoo hat.
Yeah.
I bought a case of them. Chief Wahoo's alive with me at least until I die.
There you go.
I won't even say the name of the other team. Won't say it.
Won't say. Okay. All right. Well, that's good.
So the name of the team now is the Wahoos?
It'll always be the Indians for me.
Yeah. Why are you from that area?
Yeah, I'm from 75 miles east there, right on the Pennsylvania-Ohio border.
I'll be darned.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
See, I'm a Milwaukee Braves guy, which doesn't exist anymore.
Mike's got a team called the Yahoos.
Yeah, but that's what I grew up with at Milwaukee County Stadium. Thank you. That was my first venture into professional baseball. Thanks, Dad. And last, pretty much. Well, no, I'm an Astros fan. Who couldn't be? Why would you not be an Astros
they won
fan?
late last night.
Did they win?
They pulled it out, yeah.
Good. Glad to hear that.
Mark Wahlberg likes them.
Randy Weldon, Mustang Club of America. Used to be Northside Mustang Club.
Well, I'm still a member there.
Are you? Still a member there. And is there anything Mustang that you don't do?
No, there's not much I don't do Mustang. I'm just hoping that the Running Pony doesn't get offended. We don't want it to change the name.
The Running Pony.
The logo. The Running Pony.
The logo.
I know. I got it. But why did you say that?
Because I've never heard it called that before.
The Running Pony? Mm-mm. I never have either.
Randy, I've heard it called that.
And there's a piece in my auto history segment that's going to talk about the Mustang.
Mm-hmm. Well, we always talk about the Mustang.
Talk about the Running Pony?
No.
Hey,
I think,
guys, when you get to that segment, if you dig up the history of the Running Pony, it was created by a Ford artist who came out of Crockett, Texas. Guy by the name of Phil Clark.
I'll be darned.
Yes, sir.
See, I thought that the Running Pony was more along the lines of a up on the
galloping
back feet pony,
like the Denver Bronco horse,
something like that. Am I wrong?
Nope.
Okay. Well, see, because running, he would have all four
galloping.
Yeah, galloping.
And isn't the horse in the Denver Stadium? Isn't that Trigger? Isn't that horse was replicated after the Trigger?
Roy Rogers.
Roy Rogers, yeah. Dale Evans. I think that's his horse.
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
Which is stuffed somewhere.
Yeah.
Is it stuffed? Let's talk about the Mustang cars.
Yes, sir.
How many do you own?
I've got one. Just one right now.
Which one is that?
It's actually in the picture behind me here. It's the 2010 Ford Mustang convertible.
Oh, very good.
That picture right there is traveling down Highway 105 East going to Beaumont with the top down.
I thought that at some point that you owned several Mustangs.
Well, I had a couple of Mustangs, and it was actually one of them belonged to a gal I was living with, and she took her Mustang and moved out.
She galloped out of there.
Took her.
She galloped on.
And he doesn't seem to be too worse for the wear on that one.
I'm still over here breathing, right?
That's it.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, so let's.
But you're a board member now of National, correct?
Yeah, I was a director at Northside Mustang Club, probably around 2014 or somewhere around there. And in 2015, I ran for the board of the national board. to become a national director on Mustang Club of America. I lost, but then somebody else stepped down, and I was next in line to be brought up. So I've been on the board. I think I've run for 5 terms at this point, and I'll have to run again this year.
You'll have to?
Oh, yeah. If you only get 2-year terms. You have to run again.
Oh, I see. Is it 2-year terms, and that's the max?
For the president of the club, it is.
I see.
But for the national directors, it's a volunteer organization. So you have to love doing this and making an impact on people that love the Mustang. So you're donating your time. And sometimes it's hard to get people to run for office, if you're doing it for free.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you have that passion for
it's kind of like
Mustang.
this talk show. You got to have a passion for it. Because of all the money that we're making here doing it.
That's right. Well, and you guys get up reasonably early, too. So
we do. So let's talk about the Mustang Club of America. We had, I think it was the president on last week, did we not?
It was director of the driving event.
I'm sorry, director of the driving event. And I guess it brought up some sort of question about, go ahead, Mars.
Well, Randy and I had talked about this a couple of times, particularly whenever you start thinking about some of the people we've talked to over in Italy, as far as Italy, that are members of the Mustang Club of America, how it becomes such a large organization and global. So, how did it had to start with Mustang clubs, and then, how did it become such a large organization? Again, how it runs, like you said, a bunch of volunteers that are passionate about the car and stuff. So we kind of thought maybe some of the information about the Mustang Club of America might be interesting to share to other people.
And Howard,
we thought.
Now, did it start as a bunch of individual areas that joined to the national, or
no? It started in Atlanta, Georgia, and there were 7 guys that really enjoyed getting together and kind of like guys in the Smoke and Mirrors Network. You get together and at the table and you talk about, you tell stories, right? And you enjoy those stories. And most of it's related to stuff you're interested in. So that's kind of how this started. Some of them had a couple of sons or daughters, and, they wanted to get together and put on these shows and enjoy the cars together with their families. So that's how it started in Atlanta, Georgia. And then there was a club up in Tennessee who, a couple of car shows into this, a couple of years into this, wanted to do a show up in their neck of the woods. So they created their first charter club there. And that has now grown to 173 charter clubs around the world. So you guys have done interviews with Manuel Manchin over in Italy.
Right.
You've done Simon Fixter over in England.
Yep.
You've done Adrian, and I don't remember his last name, down in Mexico.
Yep.
And all those people are Mustang people that are members of Mustang Club of America. But the Mustang Club of America started so the car was introduced, 1965? They call it 64 and a half, but it was technically 65.
Yep.
And about 1976, they formed this Mustang Club of America. And then out of that has grown 173 charter clubs. And by the way, if you get 10 Mustang Club of America members together, and they form a club and they're in operation for a year, you can petition them to become a charter club. So we're still looking to expand that out.
So you're still growing.
It's still growing. Yeah, it's still growing. Those of us on the National Board of Directors vote on approving clubs, or some clubs go dark and you don't know what's happened to them, so you vote to shut them down. But it really was born out of a bunch of guys that wanted to get together and enjoy each other's company, enjoy the car. The mission statement became, to preserve the history and enjoyment of the car. That's the mission statement of the club. So at this point, when you do car shows, you've got, cars that are restored to concours level.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, you'll have the gold card judges go in there. It's like, okay, the nut on that isn't turned exactly in the right direction, and you're not using the right bolt that we approved. It gets pretty critical of these cars, but that becomes a part of the pedigree of the pony. So when it comes time for resale, or it goes into car show retirement after you collect X amount of awards and levels, its value increases on a resale at an auction somewhere.
Kind of like Bloomington Gold with the Corvettes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Exactly like that.
I will tell you that back in my day when I was a club member, and we started our own club not too far after my initial membership with the San Jacinto Corvette Club, I will tell you I had no clue what I was getting into and the amount of work it took to be in a quote-unquote club. And I never forget going to club meetings, and somebody had the bright idea, I guess from high school, that we had to read the minutes from the last club meeting. Do we care? Does that still happen in clubs? They still have to read the stupid minutes? Who cares?
When we're done here, I'll go to the hotel across the street. We've got a national directors meeting this weekend today. And first thing we'll do is after we take roll calls, approve the minutes from the last meeting.
Well, and what's the purpose of that?
It's all part of the record keeping because you are a corporation. We're a 501c7 corporation, and it's part of the record.
You got rules you have to follow.
Yeah.
Don't need no
That's the
stinking
part
rules.
that I hate. Those stinking rules.
Stinking
That
rules.
and that's part of it. And then you got, everybody you want to make sure everybody's on the same, this is what we talked about last time. So everybody knows where we're at today because it may have been. When was your last meeting?
January. It was down in Kissimmee during the Mecum auction down there.
Yeah. So now they're in Dallas, so they got to kind of catch up, level set everybody. This is where we're at. This is what we're going to do. We've already decided this much.
And the other thing is
forward.
you kind of go over the minutes of the last meeting, so some of that might set the agenda for this meeting because you haven't closed the thought of what somebody brought up at the last
I have
meeting.
in my mind.
So the minutes take hours.
Yes.
Minutes take hours.
The minutes do take hours.
Let me ask you this question. That would be, when it comes to membership, is it all a bunch of old guys?
No, we've got at this meeting. One of our national directors, Robin Paulsell from Oakland, or from the San Jose area over there, has his 20-year-old daughter here, and she's got a car that she traveled. We have these generally 4 shows a year and a couple of driving events, and some of those are mixed with shows. She brings her car out, she shows it, and she's won multiple awards for that. Not only that, I've watched this little gal. Her name's Paige. From the time she was 14 years old, she works on that car. And I mean, she's right in there on her own, replacing things that need to be replaced so she can get, a gold trophy or whatever.
Good for her.
Good. Well,
That's what it's about.
Yeah.
Well, Mustang Club America is all about the family, right? And getting the, kind of bringing the people up behind you.
Well, and some of the cars in the club have probably become generational cars. Dad to his son to the grandson kind of thing as the ownership of the car progresses through the family. And this week, the Mustang is 58 years old.
And
guys, this is the only car I've seen that actually kind of permeates families. It somebody in the family will get one. Next thing you know, you got 5. And, every member's got to have one. But it also passes down generationally, like Conrad said.
Well, I think that the other aspect of that is the fact that, we tend to go with what we can afford at the beginning. And sometimes guys go nuts and get all into it, some perfect 1964 and a half, if you will, Mustang that is absolutely pristine and has got all the big heavy-duty awards, and it gets trailed around in a box and that sort of thing. But I think that the real appeal is the fact that the Mustang prices, generally speaking, throughout the years have been affordable. It is an affordable way to get into a 4-place passenger car. Yeah, and all of the aftermarket things that you can do to it, fix up the engine, put wheels on it, tweak the interior, you name it.
And it's stayed in production since '64.
There you go. So it has this wonderful history, and the fact that it is affordable to most people, even if it's a new one, an old one, one that's on its last leg, and somebody spends decades getting it up restoring it. There's a certain appeal to that for a lot of people. And I think that the affordability of the Mustang going in at the beginning is part of that appeal. Don't you, Randy?
I do think it is, but guys, you've been out to car shows.
Oh, yeah.
And track events and everything else. Have you ever noticed, because I noticed this early on at cruise-ins and car shows, that a 4 or 5-year-old be walking around with mom and dad and they gravitate to one brand or another.
That's
I've noticed
true,
that
yes.
over and over.
Sure.
Yeah, and you'll see the kids that are gravitating to the Camaros or the Corvettes or to the Mustangs, and it happens at an early age. And I it's always caught my attention. Like, why does that happen?
When did it happen for you? How old were you?
I was 15 actually. My first car was a Ford Mustang. It was affordability. Don, I cashed in Ford savings
Affordability.
bonds.
I got it.
It was affordability. This thing was almost beat to death. But I needed a car to get back and forth to Conroe High School from Spring. And so I cashed in 4 savings bonds and bought my first car. And then I worked on it every weekend to make sure I got back and forth to school every week.
Well, I think that I was 14, and there was a Corvette, brand new one, sitting on the showroom floor of McRoberts Chevrolet, which was the forerunner to A.J. Foyt Chevrolet on Post Oak near Belfort. And I guess Dad was looking for a car, not that car. He was looking for a.
He just happened to be in the showroom.
You wanted that car, but Dad didn't.
But that's exactly where I went to, because at that age, especially when you're 14 years old, and you're washing Mom's car and getting it all cleaned up, you can't drive it
and
yet.
doing one-wheel burnouts in the Buick.
Yeah, well, not yet. That was to come at a later time, but. I right along with Randy. I mean, you gravitate to a certain car, and here I am all these years later, still with a Corvette.
You always remember your first because it's the special one. Because, like Randy said, he went out of his way to cash in some bonds, or it took him some work to get that one.
Well, I will tell you that the Corvair thing just happened as a fluke. It's not that I wanted the Corvair, but it was available. And I knew that it would run, and I put a few dollars into it, bought it cheap, and bought it from the dealership because the guy that brought it in to get it fixed couldn't afford to get it fixed. I did, and it became my car. And that's the only reason that I fell into that. Otherwise, I would have gone for a Corvette, not that I could have afforded one at the time. But that's funny how and Randy brought it up. I didn't even think about it, Randy.
Start as a child.
Yeah, you start as a kid, and then you gravitate toward one car.
Well, I guess I was the odd child, probably still in the odd adult. Because mine was my sister dated a guy, and to this day I remember the guy's name. His name was Paul Simpson, and he had a black 68 442 W30, and it was the baddest car in high school at the time. There wasn't anybody even came close to it, and that was where I grew my passion for Oldsmobiles.
Yep. Randy, Mustang Club of America, do they have a local branch here?
Well, you've got these regional charter clubs. So in the city of Houston, you've got Northside Mustang Car Club. You've got Mustang Club of Houston. Both of those are charter clubs. And in Beaumont, you've got the Wild Horse Mustang Club. You go to San Antonio, you've got the San Antonio Mustang Club. You've got, various little sections of that, like the Shelby clubs and the Saline and Roush clubs. But all of them have local. Is there
a repository where you can get that information off the internet?
There is. There's on the website's mustang.org, and you just go there, and there's a ton of information.
Gotcha.
For how to join the club, who to contact, and it has a list of all the regional clubs that exist right now, so you can look for one close to you.
Yep, I'm posting that up right now.
So you don't really join the Mustang Club of America until after you've
joined a
club.
A charter club.
Well, I joined Mustang Club of America because when I bought my Mustang, there was a pamphlet in the glove box. All right, so I joined them, and I got to thinking about it. I was like, there's got to be a local club. So I Googled Mustang Club of Houston and found those guys first and joined those guys. But those guys are based in Katy primarily, and I lived in Spring. So eventually I found the Northside Mustang Car Club, which was close to me, and I didn't have to drive an hour or two and from each meeting.
But so somebody, let's say out in Marfa, there's one Mustang guy out in Marfa. He can join the Mustang Club of America without having a club. Okay. Because you did mention you've got events that go on and a lot of other things that happen that people would like to know about.
Well, and those events are listed on that Mustang.org website. But, every year Mustang Club of America puts on generally 4 national car shows. You guys came out to the one at the Lone Star Flight Museum in 2019.
Right.
But when we look at this year, starting in June 9th through 11th, you've got Albuquerque. So you've got a national Mustang show there, and people travel from around the world to get to that. You go July 27th through 30th, and they're going to Indianapolis. That also includes the Mustang 2 reunion. How many times have you seen every Mustang 2 in the country that looks good? They get together.
Both of them.
All 2 of them. All 2 of them. September is usually the Grand National. So usually by then you're having your last show of the year, and that one this year is September 8th through 10th, which is in Melbourne, Florida. And that one, that wraps it up. That because it's the end of the summer, pretty much. But because they only had 3 shows this year, then in Topeka they're going to have a driving event and a car show at Heartland Motorsports Park, and those points will carry over into 2024. And so you basically you're building these points to get your car to a point that you can retire it from showing on the circuit. And then you're also again adding to your pedigree for every one of these. You get a gold, a silver, a bronze, and when they give those awards, guys, it's not against somebody you're competing against. It's not one of your friends you've made at the car show. You're competing against yourself and how well you've cleaned that car, or how well you've maintained that car.
And to whatever the standard of that year, make, and model are.
Yeah.
That's correct. And we've got different classes for every one of the makes and models out there.
See, there's more we need to know, but we're going to run out of time here.
Randy, it's great to talk to you as always. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. Stay in touch, and let's all get together soon.
You make us smarter.
All right. Take care.
Guys,
It's easy to do.
Thank you.
Take care.
All right. Randy Weldon, and he is with the
Mustang Club of America.
And others as well. Mm-hmm. All right. Time now for this hour's car review. I had a chance to drive the 2022 Ford F-150. Available trim levels include the Pro, the XLT, the Lariat, the Platinum. My reviewed trim level is the Lightning version of it. 4x4 Super Crew with a 5.5-foot bed. And I say that because there are so many variations that you can get on an F-150. It's too many to mention. What size, what class? Standard truck, half-ton, seats 5, including the driver. Exterior changes from last model year. Well, the Lightning is all new for 22. 3 bed lengths, 3 cabs, 6 powertrains. Not in the Lightning, but in the F-150 in general. But we're going to focus on the Lightning. Exterior features, exclusive front grille, if you want to call it that, with hood to headlight horizontal bars across the thing. You cannot mistake it for any other F-150.
Cool looking, yeah.
Same for the rear lighting. It goes from tail light to tail light across the back of it. Makes the F-150 stand out from the gasoline versions. Wheels tend to be on the aerodynamic spectrum. Painted bumpers on the Lightning as well. What I liked? The differentiation between the gas and electric. Obviously, the electric wins my award. What could use improvement? Well, the range, they say, is 320 miles max at a light throttle, no AC, and reasonable ambient temperature. And I say that because...
those aren't the driving conditions in Houston.
Well, yeah, it's maximum heat here. So that's going to bring the range down because that's just the way that it works. Interior highlights. Huge center screen for the infotainment and info system, 15.5 inches to be exact. Comfortable seating surfaces, generous storage throughout the cabin. Ergonomics, great in this truck. Cargo trunk room, well, this thing is perfect for an electric truck. And let's not forget the frunk, which is where the engine would be.
Front trunk.
Which is where the engine would be in a gasoline engine. It's now a trunk up there.
And it kind of comes off odd when you see one parked and that hood's up. Because to me, I'm going to lean in and expect to see the functions of an electric vehicle.
No.
There's nothing. It's an empty storage compartment.
It's the trunk, but it's on the front of the truck. So what I liked about it, the fold-down shifter, the interior, it allows for a flat center console work area. You have to see it to believe it. It works great. I don't understand the purpose of the actual shift lever and having to have it go down all the way. I think that the perfect fit for it would be what is used in the Jaguar line of cars, where it's the round knob and the knob just sinks down to make it a flat surface. You don't need the great big.
He said he liked something about Jaguar.
I didn't say that.
Yeah, I was going to say, he didn't really say he liked it.
I didn't like
He just compared it.
Yeah. But the knob on the Jag works rather well, as long as you don't get something stuck down in there and it sticks down, and then you can't shift the thing.
Yeah, you get your knob stuck.
And that, don't ask me how I know that. I had someone approach me in the parking lot and ask me all about it. Got lots of looks. You know, it draws attention. There's no doubt about it. Engine, dual electric motors, 580 horsepower, 775 pound-feet of torque. It's a direct drive, clearly. Doesn't have a transmission. Tow rating, 7,700 pounds. Payload, 1 ton, 2,000 pounds.
And doing all of that shortens its range.
Yes, it does. So I'm going to say it's approximately 420 miles is what I drove the thing. And what I found out is the usage, the electrical power usage out of the batteries, 6% of the power went to the accessories during that mileage period, 5% went to climate, 3% went to the exterior temperature, the 3%, and then the driving usage for the battery is 86%. So most of it went to driving, clearly. What I liked about it, I like the rocket startup from the get-go. In other words, you put it in drive.
It'll haul donkey.
Well, to use one of Mars' terms. Yes. What could use improvement? The heaviness of it. It feels heavy. Ride and handling, smooth, compliant. Nothing could use improvement there. It really rides like a luxury limousine. Base trim price, $67,474. Prices tested, $81,099. The base model price, good luck in trying to find one, starts at $41,769. Wow.
And has been moving up since its inception.
Right. Competitors, the Rivian R1T for $69,000 starting price. The GMC Hummer, $108,700 starting price there. And the still coming soon to a theater near you is the Ram Rev. Pricing will be announced, but I'm sure it will be competitive with the Lightning. Cool. You looked at me funny. Why?
Well, because I don't necessarily put the Hummer as a competitor to the Lightning.
Well, I had to come up with 3, and that's one of them.
Well, mainly because the Hummer's more an SUV than a pickup, where the Lightning's a pickup.
The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show is available 24/7 through the iHeartRadio app. Just look for the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. We also video stream on Facebook, YouTube, and InWheelTime.com, and podcasts are at your fingertips on over a dozen of the most popular podcast outlets. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show continues right after this quick break. I hope. Oh. Let's try that again. I did.
Are you a car enthusiast? Come experience the 27th annual Keels and Wheels Classic Car and Boat Show. Join us Saturday, May 6th and Sunday, May 7th at the Lakewood Yacht Club in Seabrook. This fun family event features vintage and contemporary race cars from Le Mans, Indy, Formula One, NASCAR, and much more. See classic and vintage boats of all types, not to mention American and European pre- and post-war classics. Pre-sale tickets are $30. Students are just $15. Children 12 and under are free. Purchase your tickets today at keelsandwheels.com.
Everyone at the Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In at the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy, thank you for participating in the best cruise in around and look forward to seeing you again. You'll hear about the next cruise in date right here on In Wheel Time. Next time you're in the West Houston Energy Corridor area, be sure and stop in at the original Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex at I-10 and Highway 6 or the Katy location on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard. When passing through Beaumont or College Station, stop in and have Lupi's award-winning beef fajitas and frozen margaritas. There's always a celebration at Lupi Tortilla. Lupi Tortilla founder Stan Holt and his wife Sheila are winning racers on the NHRA drag racing circuit and have a collection of hot rods and classics that everyone appreciates. Look for them at the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In. The date will be announced soon and will once again be held at the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex on 99 and Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10 and Katy. We'll give you all the details right here on the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show and online. Donations benefit God's Garage. We'll see you then. It's the In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Coming up, Chris Harto at Consumer Reports on emissions laws and how it will affect all of us. Conrad has This Week in Auto History. We'll get you caught up on the stories making car news this week. Howdy, along with Mike out of This World Mars, King Conrad DeLong. We need more Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join us on this Saturday, and thank you very much for doing such. Chris Harto is with Consumer Reports. Chris, good morning.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Well, thank you for joining us again. We've talked to you before, and this time we're going to talk to you about these EPA new rules. Now, have the new rules actually been enacted yet? Has it been approved by everybody, or is it just proposed?
Yeah, no, this is just a proposal, and these rules would be for model year 2027 through 2032.
Well,
but yeah, we don't expect them to be finalized until sometime the end of the year.
Do you think that there'll be any changes made once it gets the hammer down and everybody says okay?
Yeah, I mean, in these sorts of rulemakings, there's always some changes, some tweaks here and there. So yeah, I'm sure there'll be changes before this is final.
So let's talk about the demand for EVs. Let's start with that, and let's talk about what consumers are really hoping to get. I mean, is production meeting demand?
Yeah, absolutely not. Consumers who want EVs today are often faced with dealing with scarce vehicles, no vehicles on the lot, pre-ordering, dealer markups, wait lists, all sorts of stuff like this. We did some survey analysis and found that there's about 45 Americans who definitely want an EV for every EV being built. So, automakers are behind in trying to catch up.
Did any of your analysis include what the buyer is actually looking for in an EV? Do they think that it's going to be free gas? I mean, do they think that there's going to be unlimited mileage? Do they ever look at the fact that there's a limited number of chargers outside of their house?
Yeah, so there's a lot of reasons why Americans are buying EVs. The first one is the saving money on gas, saving money on maintenance. Those, the simpler ownership experience if you can charge at home. But the other factor is they're just fun to drive. Once people get in them, drive, experience driving an EV, they really like it, and so that's also driving a lot of the sales just because they're so fast and fun.
Yeah. You personally, do you have an EV?
That's a great question. I don't yet. I want one. I'm definitely in one of the category of people. The next vehicle they buy will be an EV. I have a perfectly functional gas vehicle right now. I don't drive that much. I don't need a new car. But the next time I buy a new car, it'll absolutely be an EV.
And have you considered the fact that the cost to own an EV as far as fuel versus electricity is actually not really comparable? I mean, we've seen reports that the cost of EVs, once you put in all of the factors, the cost of the vehicle and the fact that it's going to cost you to charge the vehicle really isn't that great of a savings when it all comes to, the end price that you have to pay.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on your exact situation. For people who can charge at home, those savings are quite significant. At around today's fuel costs, the average American will save somewhere around $1,700 a year on fuel and maintenance savings on an electric SUV compared to a gas SUV. So over the years, that'll pay for a lot of extra costs, upfront costs, but also the cost of the EVs are coming down. There's quite a few options on the market now that are quite competitively priced.
Well, I'm sure that you saw that once again, Tesla is lowering the price again to be more competitive. And I think that speaks volumes on them trying to be competitive with all of the other manufacturers out there. Whereas in the past, in some cases, they were quite money hungry when it came to buying a thing.
Yeah. I mean, Tesla's been kind of production limited. They keep ramping up their production. They sell everything they build. So if they can squeeze out an extra $5,000 or $10,000 in profit from the vehicles, they will. But there's even with all these price cuts, there's still been one of the most profitable automakers in terms of their margins. So they have a lot of room to compete.
Well, let's talk about, if you will, the greenhouse gas emission standards that I guess the government is currently looking at to putting into law that is going to really squeeze gasoline-powered vehicles.
Yeah. So at a high level, these standards are technology neutral standards. So they set a carbon target, and then automakers can use a mix of technologies to meet them, including improving the efficiency of their gasoline vehicles, building hybrids, building plug-in hybrids, and building battery electric EVs. EPA estimates that if automakers only comply using EVs, that around 2/3 of the new vehicles sold in 2032 would be battery electric vehicles. But there's different options for automakers. In reality, that number is probably going to be lower, somewhere like, in the 50s to 60% when you mix in all the different strategies different automakers will use to comply with those standards.
So will Consumer Reports be doing some testing, or have you started to do any testing on the variety of batteries that are going to be or are currently available through the EV market?
I'm not. We don't test the batteries themselves, but every new EV that hits the market, pretty much everyone that's within at least under $100,000 or so, we go out, we buy it from a dealer, and we'll put it through our standard tests, and we are coming up with other new tests for EVs, testing their charging speeds and things like that, how well they operate in the cold, all the different things that are new to EVs that may not apply to gasoline vehicles.
Yeah, to a degree, that's partially what I meant, because everybody has this vision of, I don't have to buy gasoline anymore, so my energy expense goes to zero, which isn't necessarily true. Your energy expense can be quite a lot at the inception, because you have to put in a certain level charging station at your house, or you can just plug it into the 110 for 12 hours a day. So there's still an expense to a per mile. I don't know, how does Consumer Reports test that as an expense per mile?
Or calculate it.
How do you calculate that expense per mile? Gasoline, miles per gallon, electricity,
wattage,
cost per mile.
Well, that's a whole nother subject. As a matter of fact, there has been some talk about the fact that they're trying to change, I guess, the window sticker on the cars and electric vehicles to actually make us understand, because kilowatt hours means nothing to me.
Well, that's kind of why I asked the question, because I would look at Consumer Reports for being the organization who could simplify that theory of what my costs to drive the vehicle are.
Per mile. That's
right?
what I want to know. How long is, what's it? So you understand where we're coming from on that, right?
Yeah. And there's definitely a learning curve for Americans, moving from a gasoline to an electric vehicle. And we're developing a lot of new products, a lot of new tools on our website to really help Americans understand the differences and navigate this transition. It's not an easy transition. There's a lot to learn. There's a lot that's different. We're working really hard to translate all of that to what it really means.
So how are these new EPA rules for gasoline engines going to affect you and me and everybody?
Yeah, well, we see it as kind of in line with where the market's already going. These rules, aren't that far off from where automakers are already telling their shareholders they're going to be in 2030 and beyond. They're making hundreds of billions of dollars of investment in developing new electric vehicles, building new battery manufacturing plants, building new EV manufacturing plants here in the U.S. So it's really kind of supporting the direction that the market is already going, which is rapidly in the direction of vehicles with a plug.
So I will just assume that cars with 1,000 horsepower, those days are numbered.
There's been strong rules for a long time. These are their fleet averages, so it just means if you build a 1,000 horsepower gasoline vehicle, you might have to build an extra EV more than you would if so there's ways that automakers can work around that. They can also buy credits from other companies. So if one company wants to build a lot of really powerful sports cars, and that's what they do, they can just buy credits from another auto. There's a lot of EV only manufacturers that are going to be generating credits, so they can just buy credits from other automakers that overcomply with these rules.
And some or most manufacturers have announced an EV program. I think Toyota's been a little slow to announce an EV program because they've had such a good hybrid program for so long. But Porsche's got a pretty strong EV program for a sports car company. Tesla is exclusive EV, and General Motors has talked about by 35. I think Mercedes has talked about by 2030 they're going to be all EV. So everybody's got a program out there, and then how does that relate to their corporate average fuel economy? Because these EVs and the hybrids, the CAFE rating on them is so high, it allows them to do some stuff with some gasoline engines in the middle.
Yeah, exactly. So if they build more EVs, they can build more, sports cars and 500-600 horsepower pickup trucks. So there's a lot of flexibility in the rules, and it's not gonna push any, necessarily push a lot of vehicles out of the market.
See, I find it very interesting that your take there on that whenever you say that, because there's so much stuff that we see and read, including in some the press release we got regarding some of these studies about some of these standards being designed to push the market more towards EVs. And so to me, that means those 1,000 horsepower vehicles, that's what they want to get rid of them. There's tire slashers out there and stuff doing silly things, but
yeah,
that's not what I'm
they
hearing
can't
you
build
say.
all 1,000 horsepower cars, and maybe you'll end up with more limited production versions like Dodge's with their last call versions of their sports cars, where there's maybe a little bit more limited production of some of those vehicles, but they'll still be able to build at least some of those vehicles. But it does strongly incentivize automakers to build more electric vehicles, and especially to build more in more mainstream segments at more cost-effective price points for consumers, and really get them more broadly in the market versus right now where they're kind of targeting maybe one segment or the luxury space or the premium space. It really encourages them to build a more complete portfolio of plug-in vehicles to give consumers more options. And we believe that as there are more options, as there are vehicles and more price points, consumers really like these vehicles. In our satisfaction surveys, four of the top 10 most satisfying vehicles have a plug, right up there with the Porsche 911, the Corvette, and the Miata, right there in the top 10. And none of them are in the bottom 10 in our satisfaction rating. So, owners of these vehicles seem to like them.
Well, personally, I like the hybrid because it gives great gas mileage. 40. Like the last one that I had was like 43 miles per gallon.
Yeah, you're in the 40s.
And the flexibility of range.
Yeah, and it was a self-sufficient. I didn't have to plug it in hybrid. It carried a battery pack, and man, I'm telling you, that 4-cylinder engine had plenty of power, and coupled with the electric motor, it was really awesome. To me, today, it seems to me that would be the way to go if you really want to satisfy your EV needs and the fuel mileage along with a brand new vehicle, as opposed to going full in on an EV when you really don't have the infrastructure to go very far outside of Houston, Texas, or where you are. Once you get on the road, like between here and Austin, or here in San Antonio, or here in Dallas, you really sometimes have to plan out where you're going to stop and get a recharge, because I would imagine on the main thoroughfares, not so much of an issue, but you venture off the real heavily traveled
secondary roads.
How long's your extension cord?
Yeah, how long is the extension cord? And I'm sure that you guys have done the research on that, and what is holding people back when it comes to buying an EV.
Yeah, I mean, first I'll say we think hybrids are great, and we'd love to see these rules, encourage automakers to build more and more hybrids for those remaining gasoline vehicles. We think hybrids are an awesome choice for most consumers in terms of saving money with a minimal increase in cost. But in terms of that charging infrastructure, that's absolutely, the number one barrier for consumers right now is the confidence in that charging infrastructure. There's a few things coming. The federal government's investing about $7.5 billion, sending that money out to states, specifically for states to figure out the best place to put chargers in their own state, to really help build out that kind of baseline charging infrastructure to ensure consumers can get where they need to go. We're also seeing big companies announcing investments, Walmart, Starbucks, Subway, among some of the names of companies that have committed to put in chargers at many of their locations. So it's coming, but it is slower. And one of the advantages of a rule like this is it kind of sets out a trajectory of where the market is likely to be, so that those companies can have some confidence when they're investing that there's going to be vehicles there to use the chargers that they're building.
Well, Chris, it's great to talk to you, and thank you. We love to talk to you guys at Consumer Reports. Where can we find out free information on this?
Yeah, just go to consumerreports.org. We've got lots of great information about EVs, hybrids, plug-in hybrids, anything you want to know.
And if you want to pay, you can also get information on the vacuum cleaner that you guys recommend.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love it.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Chris Harto, it's great to talk to you. Thanks. We'll talk again
you.
soon. He's with Consumer Reports. Always love to talk to those guys. It's always very informative.
Wealth of information.
And your comment about the hybrid, that's like taking baby steps into the EV. You got to do to try it out, I'm thinking.
Well, I have to tell you that when the hybrids first came to market, of course, the Prius is the first one that comes to mind. And from the very beginning, I liked the Prius as far as the advantages of not having to plug it in. It's there, it gets great gas mileage, and it's reliable. Can't say that about all of the other hybrids early on.
It is ugly.
Yeah, it was ugly. But now hybrids have become much more acceptable. They've become
much more dependable by all manufacturers, because early on, some of the early hybrids were called hybrids but weren't. GM made a pickup truck they called a hybrid, but what made it a hybrid was you had a 110 power plug in the back. It had no propulsion to it. It didn't move the truck. It just created 110 power in the back, and GM called it a hybrid. Well, it wasn't.
Yeah. But at any rate,
it was a fire hazard is what it was, because it was recalled for that.
Thermal event cluster.
Do you happen to have in front of you your cruise-in calendar? Now, not the events calendar, but the cruise-in calendar. Yep. Do you happen to have that?
Yeah, and not a whole lot going on that I have for that. Randy, I was surprised he wasn't at the Mustang Day Wildflower Cruise that left Buc-ee's this morning. I know a couple of people are listening in from that. And then the Lone Star Drift Round 3 at the Houston Police Academy is June 24th.
Okay. And I have to tell you that as far as the events calendar is concerned, and this is an opportunity for me to plug this in,
Sure.
is that beginning Thursday evening, this coming Thursday evening, is the beginning of the Hot Rod Tour of Texas. And I mention that because I'm going to go on that. I leave to go to Victoria on Thursday, and they have a little reception, the soiree down there at...
You mean a place to stop and drink?
Well, there's that next to the hotel, yes. But that's on Thursday evening.
Little
And then we get on the
sandwiches.
road on Friday, and we do Friday,
To a
Saturday,
brewery.
Sunday. No, we're not going
Or
to Shiner.
distillery.
Distillery, I think it is. But I understand that you guys are going to be following me and badgering me on Saturday.
We're going to try, yes.
Okay. So
So we'll be there Friday.
So
Yeah,
To start
it'll be
badger.
Friday.
Start the badger. I'm bringing a fresh badger, by the way.
We're going to need it, I'm afraid.
yeah. And so it's going to be Mars and Jeffrey.
And David.
David.
And David. And David is going to be on.
David.
David Ainsley, our chief
Jeff's
engineer.
going to bring Kathy, and she's going to prepare Himalayan cat because she found a cat Himalayan on the road.
When we catch up, you can smack him.
Yeah, you can smack it. All right, well, let's do This Week in Auto History, shall we? You have that as well. You just have a whole
Plethora.
a big stack of papers over there.
So in 1906, the Sunset Automobile Company, that was a startup company in San Francisco, was totally destroyed by fire. The production of the Sunset never resumed, and the firm was legally dissolved in 1909.
I had a patio umbrella that looked like the top on that car one
I
time.
think I did.
But you
got
got to think, back in 1906, that was a pretty cool looking car. You know, pretty ornate.
fancy, yeah.
You know, and
a lot of detail.
the Bay Area of California has had different automotive manufacturers through the years. None of them have been considered successful.
Well, Ford had a office there, a plant right
and
there
so
on the
did
bay.
GM and Toyota, the NUMMI plant that built the Chevrolet Nova, which was kind of an abomination of the name Nova, and I think Toyota Corolla. They were both a shared platform. And then Tesla come out of the Bay Area as well, so Tesla being the most successful. But I thought that was a beautiful car for 1906 when, you know, the main competitor to that was the Model T, which was kind of a plain Jane looking car.
Yeah.
And then in 1942, Rand McNally released the first comprehensive road atlas. And, you know,
I used to love the road atlases.
and Rand McNally, definitely the name to remember.
I think they still make them.
They still do. This is the cover of the 2021 road atlas.
And they're not cheap.
They're not cheap, and if you kind of look at that, that is looking from the
East to the west.
tunnel of Yosemite Valley, and that's El Capitan on the left and Half Dome on the right. So you know, it's always had those atlases always had some wonderful photography in them, and you know, one big book takes you around the country. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Lots of trivial knowledge in
Yes,
there.
if you
as
don't
well.
have a cell phone yet, this is the way to go.
And then in 1946, Arthur Chevrolet, the brother of the Chevrolet namesake Louis Chevrolet, committed suicide at age 60 in Slidell, Louisiana.
In that truck?
No, but it's a 1946 Chevy Suburban, which would be quite collectible today. And
Yeah.
I've been to Slidell. I can understand why Arthur did what he did.
Didn't we interview someone?
Why was he there is the question.
Slidell, Louisiana.
Didn't we
There's some
interview
hot
someone that
chicks over
had one
there.
of these at Granbury?
Yep. Gorgeous truck. And then
Need to get your
58
glasses checked.
58 years ago this week, in 1964, the Ford Mustang, a two-seat mid-engine sports car, was officially unveiled at the Ford in the World's Fair in New York City in Flushing Meadows.
The same month as the grand opening of the Houston Astrodome.
Oh, was it?
1965.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
And what did Randy call it? The galloping pony?
The galloping pony. The running pony.
Running something.
And actually, I was there as a child, and I remember this display.
You were never a child.
Well, I was there as a
He
youngster.
still is a child.
Oh, yeah.
I was
true.
there as a youngster at the New York City.
A youngin'?
That'd be cool
New York World
to say
Fair.
that.
Yep.
Yeah. Did you?
And-
By the way, did you go to Woodstock?
No. Woodstock. I was
69.
I was 11 at Woodstock.
Well, there were a lot of them there.
Yeah. Well, no, I didn't go to Woodstock. But I know where Woodstock was, right off the Northway.
Okay.
Quite a famous spot.
He didn't make it past.
And then in
420.
1965, the Chesapeake Bay Bridge Tunnel opened, which is really kind of weird. It's this big, long suspension bridge that comes to the middle of the bay and then dives into a tunnel.
Yep.
And then the ships will pass over the tunnel.
Is there a Kennedy driving that ship?
No, that wasn't. That was Chappaquiddick.
Oh, close enough.
It's a sea bay.
Yeah.
But kind of an unusual build is the fact that, here you are in this 17.5-mile long bridge, and then all of a sudden in the middle, it dives into a tunnel. I guess if there's a hurricane coming and the tide rises, they're going to have to close that down because the tunnel's going to fill up.
Put a plug in it.
And then in 1995, after producing about 6,939 cars, Lotus tuned Chevrolet Corvette Z01 production ended. Great car, C4 Corvette. It had a 32-valve quad-cam V8 in it that was designed by Lotus, built by Mercury Marine.
Yes, I remember
in
that.
Stillwater, Oklahoma.
Because they had the wherewithal, the way to build that complicated engine there, and nobody else did.
And to do all of the machine work on the aluminum that really wasn't industry standard at the time. So, and I went to the Stillwater plant where they built that once. It wasn't working for GM. It wasn't there on a GM capacity, but was there with a friend of mine. So pretty cool. So yeah, and the ZR1 came back in 2009 again as a supercharged car. So that was it.
Okay, cool. Thank you, sir. I did want to give a couple of headlines, but we've run out of time in this segment.
Oh, I'm blamed again.
Nope, not this time. No. That all
Mike,
worked out.
what'd you do?
It's Mike. So we're going to postpone the headlines till the next segment.
Next week.
But I got the cruising calendar in. Time now for a quick break. But we'll be right back. You're on the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show on iHeartRadio.
Are you a car enthusiast? Come experience the 27th Annual Keels and Wheels Classic Car and Boat Show. Join us Saturday, May 6th and Sunday, May 7th at the Lakewood Yacht Club in Seabrook. This fun family event features vintage and contemporary race cars from Le Mans, Indy, Formula One, NASCAR, and much more. See classic and vintage boats of all types, not to mention American and European pre- and post-war classics. Pre-sale tickets are $30. Students are just $15. Children 12 and under are free. Purchase your tickets today at keelsandwheels.com.
Everyone at the Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In at the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy, thank you for participating in the best cruise-in around and look forward to seeing you again. You'll hear about the next cruise-in date right here on In Wheel Time. Next time you're in the West Houston Energy Corridor area, be sure and stop in at the original Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex at I-10 and Highway 6 or the Katy location on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard. When passing through Beaumont or College Station, stop in and have Lupi's award-winning beef fajitas and frozen margaritas. There's always a celebration at Lupi Tortilla. Lupi Tortilla founder Stan Holt and his wife Sheila are winning racers on the NHRA drag racing circuit and have a collection of hot rods and classics that everyone appreciates. Look for them at the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In. The date will be announced soon and will once again be held at the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex on 99 and Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10 and Katy. We'll give you all the details right here on the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show and online. Donations benefit God's Garage. We'll see you then. You own a car you love. Well, why not let Gulf Coast Auto Shield protect it? Houstonian John Gray invites you to his state-of-the-art facility to introduce you to his specialist team of auto enthusiasts. We promise you'll be impressed. Whether you're looking to massage your original paint to a like-new appearance, apply a ceramic coating, install a paint protection film, nano-ceramic window tint, or new windshield protection called ExoShield, Gulf Coast Auto Shield is where Houston's car people go. Curbed your wheels? Instead of buying new, why not have them repaired? How about a professionally installed radar detector? Gulf Coast Auto Shield does that too. Get a peek inside the shop and look at the services offered by getting online and heading to gcautoshield.com. Better yet, stop by their facility at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway, and get a personal tour. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your place to go for all things exterior. Call them today, 832-930-5655 or gcautoshield.com. Live from the Sugar Shack and Studio A, it's the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Coming up, we talk to a company called NordPass about passwords and the auto industry. In our second segment, we are bombarded by car insurance ads every day. Divya Sangam schools us on how much we are really saving by shopping around. Jeff has a feature on the weirdest engines ever built. Conrad has the racing calendar and the car clinic, and we'll also have the stories making automotive news headlines this week. All just ahead on this edition of the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Howdy, along with Mike Out of This World Mars, King Conrad DeLong. We always need more Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. Thank you so much for joining us. It's a beautiful day here in the Houston, Texas area, and it's a great day to get out, maybe cut the grass and enjoy the day.
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
Too bad we didn't have this weather last weekend.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, man, that'd been great.
I know. All right. NordPass. Gerald Kasulis is with us, and he is the Vice President of Business and Channel, well, I don't know. What is it, Gerald? You tell me.
Hey, everyone. Good to be here. Just expansion in the United States.
I see.
Predominantly, yeah.
What does NordPass do?
So NordPass is a password management solution. So helps everyday users, like obviously for businesses, but as well as for someone like yourself or myself, to be able to securely store credentials, passwords, so you can think of any logins like Instagram, Facebook you have and you use, for instance, and you store that securely without you needing to remember that password. So it will be pre-filling that password for you. So the days are gone where we have to create passwords that we will be able to remember, and then we end up sticking to one or two same passwords across different logins.
Well, and the way that we came about talking to you is the fact that apparently employees in the automotive sector use very weak passwords, and I would imagine it's probably across every sector. I know some people or companies that have such a very easy password, anybody could hack into it. What's the number one password that so many people use?
Here we go.
So number one password that people use is from last year. It's 123456.
Yes.
So sadly, it seems like someone just went to the keyboard and stick to the obviously to what's the easiest. And the habits don't change. It's always combination of either numbers or QWERTY. Just pretty much like I said, you just go to the keyboard. Whatever it's easiest, that's what people tend to stick, regardless of the industry, sadly.
And then there is another password that I guess falls in right behind it.
So 12345. So normally we say combination of very easy letters or numbers used, and like I mentioned, QWERTY is popular. And last year it was 123456. The year before it was password. So you can see the trend is not getting better, which password this year is number 3.
We actually need his service because I'm looking at my laptop here that Mike has put all the notes on, and there's 7 passwords on here. Mike's got one, Conrad's got
on a piece of paper placed right on top of the laptop.
Yeah.
There's your password.
Sadly, it's the way that, and to be honest, don't feel bad about it. I talk to large organizations and small organizations on a daily basis, and you'd be surprised how many even enterprise companies, they put passwords on sticky notes or email them across and whatnot. And this is literally highway to one-way ticket, highway ticket to
hell
and bad actors.
I'm on the highway to hell when you get it hacked in like that. And
they wouldn't use the word, but yes, you're absolutely right.
So your company does password generation as well as storage and entry for people? Is that what I gathered by what you said at the opening?
You can think of it this way, how passwords tend to be one of the biggest and easiest ways for bad actors, for hackers to pretty much get into your logins. And what we do as a company, as NordPass, as a product, is we take care of that for you. So you don't need to worry about the security of it. We do all that is needed. You just need to use the tool. And obviously in that tool, you have the encrypted storage, like a vault we call, where those passwords will be stored. So you eliminate the need for sticky notes or writing them down somewhere. And the beauty of it is you can easily share that amongst your friends, amongst your colleagues, between NordPass and NordPass. So automatically it's all fully encrypted, all fully secure. And like you said, yeah, you have that generation that will generate the password. So then again, you wouldn't need to think of it, what the password should be. Because I think we're still in the habit of, when we're creating a login somewhere or changing the password. I remember I used to be the same way, and probably most people at least used to be, and some people still are the same way. Well, we're creating a password and we try to think of the password that we will remember. But I always ask this one question is, when was the last time you logged in somewhere from the device that you don't trust? Meaning that it wasn't your laptop, it wasn't your phone, it wasn't like any of your work or personal devices. Probably never. Like, you cannot remember when was the last time you logged into Facebook from someone else's phone. Meaning, on your devices that you trust, you can have NordPass application, and that will interact between the laptops and phones and whatnot, and then automatically you have that pre-fill option available. So it'll pre-fill the passwords regardless how big, how long that password is, right? And that's what the generator will do. It will generate a password that is so unique that will be unguessable, and bad actors will not be able to use any type of algorithms to guess your password.
And then we only have to worry about how secure NordPass is, because you have
exactly.
everything.
That's on us. And the beauty is, like I've said, everything is fully encrypted within the vault, right? Within the storage where the passwords are stored. Everything is stored in the cloud, so meaning no data stored on the servers. And all that data there where it's stored in the cloud is zero knowledge architecture, we call, meaning that us as a provider of a password manager, we have no access to your credentials. We have no idea what is stored. And the only way for you to gain access to it is actually to identify yourself as a user. And you can set up further policies there as well, like multi-factor authentication, which is the biggest thing and probably the easiest security measure to implement for everyday users and companies that we always recommend. So you can have multi-factor authentication, like biometric setup, where for you to log in, you can have like face scan, fingerprint, things like that, that will pretty much make sure that the only person can access that vault is actually you.
So let me hear. I'm with you there on all my stuff. It's protected. I'm the only one that. But now,
hell, you can't even get into your own
exactly.
stuff. You remember it, for crying out loud.
So I'm wondering though, like
it's so good he can't remember.
Yeah, like here. So we've got the way we're kind of set up. It's more like workstation. So Jeff's got his workstation. I've got mine, etc. We've all got one. But the idea is that if I'm not here, somebody's going to have to sit at this workstation and do that work.
Yeah,
so how
or do what you do, whatever you call it.
Fine. It's an application that you need to log into. And the beauty of it also, you can set a policy how quickly you want that application to log out, right? So for instance, you can set it to as little as a few minutes, right? And meaning that you log into NordPass and you suddenly pop out to the restroom. And, a few minutes later, the app itself will lock. So meaning that another person could sit at the workstation, use it, they'll open up a NordPass, you'd be logged out, and that other person could log into their own NordPass. There's no passwords stored on that workstation. Everything is in a cloud.
So that's what I was wondering about. So if I didn't show up for work today, they could
We'd all be screwed.
Well,
I'd sleep in.
Maybe.
One of them could sit here at this workstation and literally log in through their normal channel or their normal login to get to.
You don't even know what you're talking about.
Exactly.
Well, what I'm trying to ask is how could Conrad sit here
to use unique?
Right. So if somebody else needs to use my workstation because they can only do the work here on my workstation the way it's set up, for example.
Yeah.
how do they
Access it
and do the work if I'm not here?
On the laptop, they'll be able to use the laptop as they would, and the NordPass application would be there. And without you, obviously, the application would be logged out. They wouldn't be able to access your storage, your vault where the passwords are, but they'll be able to log into their own vault.
So in other words,
the
the car porn that he looks up would be exclusive to him, because if Jeff goes over there and tries to log in, it's not going to log in to him and all of his car porn that he's got on his computer over there. It would be Jeff's own stuff over there.
Because it would be Jeff's login to NordPass.
Right. Correct?
Yeah, I could not have said it better. Yep.
Yeah, and you probably wouldn't have chosen that analogy either.
You can use that in the future if you like.
Put it in your flyer, your pamphlet.
Put it in your computer and just have it exclusively for you. Car porn.
Well, and I understand the service they're providing. It's my new job. It's got to be 16 digits long. And it has to have alphanumeric, an uppercase, a lowercase, and a special character. Oh my gosh! Just trying to think up something that long.
16.
I don't
Something that you can
speak
remember.
in words that have more than 3 syllables in them, much less 16 characters long.
All right, so I decide that I'm going to use your service. Can you help us with all of that? Because I'm lost. If he's got to do that, I'm out.
Yeah. We have great support available that will always be happy to guide you through the sign up process, how you use the solution as well, the best practices. And then when businesses reach out to us, we have dedicated teams that deal with businesses and have full onboardments and hand holding. We're big around the education of things. So it's not just we want to sell the tool. No, we want to educate the market how to, for every individual user to protect themselves better. So your credentials would be secure. Your identity online would be secure. That's the biggest thing that we provide. Well, one of the biggest things. So 100% we would be able to help.
How much does it cost?
So it's not expensive. It works out to be, I cannot tell you off top of my head the consumer product how much it costs. It's around $2-3 a month, I believe. I deal more with business solution and with companies itself, with businesses. So I can tell you the business price, which is $3.99 US dollars per user per month. So we look at the users of the organization. So if a company comes to us and they have 5 people, then we'll look at it. Okay, so you'll need 5 licenses.
Okay. Okay.
And where are you located?
Don't be fooled by my accent. I'm located out of Los Angeles, personally. The company HQ is actually in Lithuania.
Oh my God!
We need to do a remote from there.
That's another one of them 15-digit long words.
Lithuania. There you go.
There's your password. So Lithuania.
Let me ask you. Does anyone know where Lithuania is?
It's over there,
somewhere in Europe.
I'm writing it down.
I mean, both answers are correct.
I want to know. That's not a Lithuanian accent that you've brought to the show today.
From Pasadena.
It's not. No, I grew up in UK, so I come from UK, and that when someone asks me where you're from, it's always confusing because I was actually born in Lithuania, grew up in UK, and now live in the US. So I'm from LA, from UK, from Lithuania. I'm a nomad.
Got it. Okay. Well, I just wanted to make all.
Well, we won't hold you being in LA against you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, you'd much rather be here in Texas. I can tell you that because most of your colleagues there in California are moving here.
Yeah.
Funny enough, like off topic, but there's Ironman Texas happening right this moment.
Yes,
so,
in the Woodlands.
I would like to be in Texas.
There you go. Well, we'll think of you. We'll put a good word in for you next year.
It's Ironman Texas basically got the Woodlands shut down right now.
Yeah.
They've been talking about that up there.
And the LPGA's up there too, and all kinds of stuff.
Well, let's just go to Lithuania then.
All right.
No.
So the wealthiest companies' employees use dictionary words or their variations as passwords. And what is an example of that?
Example would be like vacation dummies. I mean full word rather just like a gibberish off the keyboard. So maybe that's the biggest difference that we saw when we did the study from generic everyday user with the passwords available from the breaches from last year, and like we spoke earlier, being normally just a combination of letters and numbers. We see actual full words and company names, for instance, they work for as well. But sadly, it doesn't take it away. That still makes it a very weak password.
Okay, I have to ask you this question before we say goodbye. But the auto industry now has all of the cars that are manufactured, most of them anyway, that are capable of communicating with the factory. So if there is some sort of a computer problem within the car, the factory or you can log into whatever it is, and the information is downloaded into the car, the repair, whatever it may be.
Can be, yep.
And so can I, as a consumer, as a driver of this particular car that has a multitude of computers in it that can be hacked into, is there anything that I can do? Are you working with any of the manufacturers to come up with ways that the bad guy can't hack into my car?
So it's an excellent question, and I would say this is something that a lot individuals and companies should focus a lot more. We do work with automotive companies using our solution and implementing best practices for them as well around password management and education of those passwords use, etc., for them to make sure that their logins are protected, which predominantly protects the data they access, the company resources, meaning obviously exposure to their customer data as well. But 100% beyond that, I've mentioned multi-factor authentication already. This is something that we would definitely advise to start with for every user, because it tends to be free, right? So it tends to be on a different logins that you use. So even when you log into, if you have your car app or if you have any other logins that you're using, those websites that you're using, they tend to offer, you want to set up two-factor authentication, like MFA or 2FA. We advise to always do that. I know, like, I used to be the same way, where we always think, oh, this is going to prolong the time it'll take me to log in, so I'm going to skip that part because hackers not going to target me. And then sadly, we learned the hard way. So this is one of the things that we definitely advise to do. Then evaluate as well who you share the passwords with and how you share those passwords. Like we saw you guys have notes and just write them down as well. And that's actually very easy to get a hold of your password as well. Then of course, making a password strong. It is hard to remember long passwords, and especially nowadays with the sprawl of logins and applications we have as well. Without a password management solution, I'll be very honest, it's difficult to stay on top of your password health. And if you create a password that's secure, like you said, it could be 16 digits in length, and then you have capitalization and special digits, chances are you're going to forget it, right? Like you probably need to be a genius to remember all those passwords. And
thank you.
Definitely not.
I'll take that as a compliment.
Well, and it complicates things even more whenever these systems like Google come in and tell you got to change your password, and you can't change it. You can't use one you've used in the past, so you can't remember them anymore. You've got to change them every once in a while.
And you can't just pattern the one you used with a 1 at the end of it, because they recognize that and don't accept it.
Yeah. Gerald,
I would say best password management policies go hand in hand with password management solution like NordPass.
Where do we get more information on NordPass?
Go on nordpass.com, and you'll be able to get more information for both consumer and business product. And there's a chat button, which is 24/7. Reach out to our team. Ask any questions you want, and our team will be more than happy to help. Like I said, we want to educate. So before you even commit to something, we have free versions available, both for business and both for just consumers, everyday users, to trial the product out and see the beauty of it for yourself.
In English and Lithuanian.
Yeah, Gerald, great to talk to you, my friend. Yeah, thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. Have a good rest of the day.
You do the same.
I posted the link.
Gerald Kasoulas, NordPass.com. Okay, time now. I can't turn the page for some
Race,
reason.
we got a sponsorship?
But yes, we do.
Perfect.
Thank you, Jeff.
You're welcome.
The In Wheel Time race card is sponsored by Texas Nostalgia Modified Production, and Conrad has this.
And Texas Nostalgia Modified Production is racing this weekend at the Red Line Raceway in Caddo Mills, Texas, and on May 6th in Wichita Falls, Texas. So you want to go out and see some cool cars, head out to those two tracks this weekend and next weekend.
Gassers.
Check them out. Gassers.
Yeah.
Leaving on the clutch.
That's it.
Also, the 4-Wide Nationals last week were on in Las Vegas. You know, Erica didn't have the success we were hoping she would, but, you know, good racing. 4-Wide is just confusing to me. The Gerber Collision and Glass Route 66 NHRA Nationals is May 19th through the 21st, which is at Route 66 Raceway. And then the Circle K 4-Wide Nationals is this weekend in Charlotte at the Charlotte Speedway.
It's in Charlotte, right?
It's in Charlotte.
NASCAR's in Talladega this weekend,
go.
and today they're having both the truck race and the Xfinity race. Tomorrow will be the Cup race, the NASCAR cars.
Watch cars do 200 miles an hour around the 10-mile oval. Not quite that much, but
2.66 mile
Yeah, it's nuts.
tri-oval.
You done?
Whatever.
And then Laguna IMSA is at Laguna Seca on the 14th of May.
Thank you. Time now for Jeff's 5 weirdest engines ever made. We're all waiting. I threw out one, and he said it's not weird enough. I said, okay, well, fine. Then you go.
All right. Well, strange but true. The weirdest engines in automotive history, the combustion engine is arguably the single most important part of the modern automobile. Without it, cars simply wouldn't function. There have been hundreds of different engine designs through the modern automobile era. Some are much weirder than others. And what we have here is the Cizeta V16T engine. It's a unique and powerful engine, and in the V16T sports car, made this engine special that it had 16 cylinders arranged in a V shape. The arrangement made the engine very powerful, very capable of producing up to 540 horsepower.
Wow, 16 cylinders to produce 500 horsepower. I got that and half that out there in the driveway.
The V16 engine is also designed with a unique cooling system and has 2 radiators, one in the front and one in the back of the car. This helped keep the engine running cooler even at high speeds. The V16T engine was rare and exclusive. Only a limited number of these V16s are available. It is a Testarossa killer, is what it stated.
Okay. Until it comes time to work on one.
Yep.
It's like taking your Jag in somewhere.
Oh, then don't even go there.
The next one is a Wankel rotary engine. Felix Wankel, a German engineer, invented the Wankel rotary engine in 1950. Unlike traditional piston engines, the Wankel engine used a rotor that spins inside little Wankel oval-shaped chamber to create the power. The design also lets the engine be more compact, lightweight, while also providing smooth and high revving power, Mike.
And what a great sound on the race
However,
car.
the Wankel engine has some drawbacks, including low fuel efficiency, higher emissions compared to traditional piston engines. Various vehicles have utilized Wankel engines, including cars, motorcycles, airplanes, and its distinctive technology continues to captivate and intrigue enthusiasts.
And it's an oil burner.
There's one at we see over at Craig's place. There's a gentleman that has one.
Yes.
The next one
sounds really weird.
Yeah, it does. It's kind of loud. The Bugatti W16. The Bugatti W16 engine is a powerful and unique engine used in the Bugatti Veyron. It's a hypercar. What sets this engine apart from all the other is the W shape, which means it has 16 cylinders again, arranged in 4 banks of cylinders each. The design allows the engine to be incredible power, up to 1,500 horsepower in some versions, and it had a quad turbo, direct injection, variable valve timing. So it's
what
a bad boy.
Nightmare that
was.
$25,000 oil change.
It's a bad boy there.
What?
$25,000 oil
Kind of like that Jaguar that doesn't have a dipstick.
There you go.
Well, it does have a dipstick.
The one that's driving it, yeah, exactly.
Tucker Type 335. Who can forget this? The Tucker 334 engine was different than the other engine from this period. It incorporated a direct drive torque converter, which eliminated the need for traditional transmission. A torque converter transmits the engine power directly to the rear wheels. This design allowed the car to start and accelerate smoothly without the need for shifting gears.
What is it, a flat 4?
It looks to be that way. Yep.
I think it's a flat 6. I think this also had an airplane application.
It did. Yeah,
Continental engine or something like that.
Only a few prototypes exist. The Tucker 334 engine remains an interesting piece of automotive history. It showcased the innovative thinking and technology of its time, and it was still notable in additional markets today. The technology that went into this engine is the stuff of legends you seldom see now.
That's the same guy that made the Tucker automobile?
Exactly.
Yep.
What a brilliant man.
Mm-hmm. Who got screwed.
Big time.
Conrad, this is for you, my friend. The Oldsmobile F85 Jetfire. Look at that, baby. The F85 Jetfire was a special kind of engine used in some cars in the 60s. It was different from other engines because it used a special kind of fuel called, what? Turbo rocket fuel.
But it used regular gasoline, and then there was a container of basically methanol,
rocket fuel,
and it would methanol injected, trying to cool the combustion.
And if you got there where you're going, you could drink the methanol. This fuel made the engine more powerful and faster than other engines. The Jetfire was a performance engine with a lot of pep in its step, and its engine displacement was a crucial part of the performance. It's a good engine back then in the 60s. It put Oldsmobile on the map with consumers. Oldsmobile was once pioneer force in automotive world, long before Tesla and other automakers.
Thanks, Jeffrey.
You're welcome.
That was a great story. Love that. Yeah.
Good stuff. And I got a really good one next week.
What's it going to be?
I can't tell you.
What?
Tune in next week.
Okay.
It's about tune-ins?
Tuner.
You know, you could tune a piano, but you can't tune a fish.
Yeah, I know.
Mars, are you even with us this morning?
He is.
He's said about 3 words.
I'm trying not to laugh at these
stupid jokes.
Exactly.
The N-Wheel Time Car Talk Show is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Oh, God. It's ad nauseum through the iHeartRadio app. Just look for N-Wheel Time Car Talk. We also video stream on Facebook, YouTube, and NWheelTime.com. Podcasts are at your fingertips on over a dozen of the most popular podcast outlets, probably one that you use.
Mm-hmm.
The N-Wheel Time Car Talk Show continues right after this quick break.
Are you a car enthusiast? Come experience the 27th Annual Keels and Wheels Classic Car and Boat Show. Join us Saturday, May 6th and Sunday, May 7th at the Lakewood Yacht Club in Seabrook. This fun family event features vintage and contemporary race cars from Le Mans, Indy, Formula One, NASCAR, and much more. See classic and vintage boats of all types, not to mention American and European pre- and post-war classics. Pre-sale tickets are $30. Students are just $15. Children 12 and under are free. Purchase your tickets today at keelsandwheels.com.
Everyone at the Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In at the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy, thank you for participating in the best cruise in around and look forward to seeing you again. You'll hear about the next cruise in date right here on In-Wheel Time. Next time you're in the West Houston Energy Corridor area, be sure and stop in at the original Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex at I-10 and Highway 6 or the Katy location on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard. When passing through Beaumont or College Station, stop in and have Lupi's award-winning beef fajitas and frozen margaritas. There's always a celebration at Lupi Tortilla. Lupi Tortilla founder Stan Holt and his wife Sheila are winning racers on the NHRA drag racing circuit and have a collection of hot rods and classics that everyone appreciates. Look for them at the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In. The date will be announced soon and will once again be held at the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex on 99 and Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10 and Katy. We'll give you all the details right here on the In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show and online. Donations benefit God's Garage. We'll see you then. You own a car you love. Well, why not let Gulf Coast Auto Shield protect it? Houstonian John Gray invites you to his state-of-the-art facility to introduce you to his specialist team of auto enthusiasts. We promise you'll be impressed. Whether you're looking to massage your original paint to a like-new appearance, apply a ceramic coating, install a paint protection film, nano-ceramic window tint, or new windshield protection called ExoShield, Gulf Coast Auto Shield is where Houston's car people go. Curbed your wheels? Instead of buying new, why not have them repaired? How about a professionally installed radar detector? Gulf Coast Auto Shield does that too. Get a peek inside the shop and look at the services offered by getting online and heading to gcautoshield.com. Better yet, stop by their facility at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway, and get a personal tour. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your place to go for all things exterior. Call them today, 832-930-5655 or gcautoshield.com. Live.
Are we sure?
With Don Armstrong sound effects.
Live, it's the In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Coming up, we bring you some special stories that you'll be interested in.
Because we're special.
We are.
We are special.
Special K. Speaking of, Conrad will have the In-Wheel Time Car Clinic. I'll bring you this week's auto news. Howdy, along with Mike Out of This World Mars, King Conrad DeLong. We always need more Jeff Zekin. I am Don Armstrong today.
Okay.
Can't speak about anything other than today. At any rate, hopefully we're going to get Divya on here. We're going to talk about insurance.
Yeah, I've texted her.
Yeah, we're going to talk to her about insurance and the nightmare of we could save you $500 over Allstate or Progressive or any of them.
We just renewed our homeowners and car insurance.
How much did it go up?
A bunch. We used Amica for the longest time and had great success with them, especially because we had Amica when Harvey flooded. Now we had national flood insurance, but Amica had to come look at the house as well. And then they went up like $1,800 this year.
Holy, just for the house?
Wow.
Well, the house and the car. And the car didn't go up much, but the house went up so much.
So you took Flo's advice and bundled.
Well, we bundled anyhow, and then we switched. We price shopped and switched.
What'd you go to?
We ended up going to Farmers. We contacted Amica and said, hey, here's what Farmers is offering. And the girl on the other end of the phone goes,
Left.
Well, they're a reputable company. If that's what you want to do, go for it. Huh. I'm like, see ya, cancel all my policies. We're going to Farmers because the price increase was so dramatic in 1 year. And what they said was, well, we had so many losses in Texas this year from all of the weather-related stuff. I'm like, so all of the losses in 1 year creates a rate hike, but all the years you didn't have a loss never created a rate reduction or never created a
they're not going to give it back to you.
Yeah,
they won't do that.
Right. So I was relatively upset with Amica because I liked them. I thought they took good care. And way back when we joined Amica, part of the thing we liked about it was they say, we don't waste your money advertising on television. We don't spend, you don't see our ads 5,000 times a day. Yeah. So, well, another thing about Amica that was nice as they called us a shareholder. At the end of the year, you would get basically a rebate check from them, a dividend check from them for what they made and what their profits were. They gave some of it back to their shareholders.
Interesting.
But didn't get one last year and then dumped them this year.
Boom. Got hit with it.
Speaking of money, 50-year-old woman has been charged with felony embezzlement for allegedly stealing about $71,000 from a Toyota dealership in Philadelphia, Mississippi. Local station WTOK reported Philadelphia is in central Mississippi, northeast of Jackson. Letitia Jones Smith was formerly the comptroller for Doc's Toyota, according to WTOK. Smith had been let go by Doc's Toyota on January 5th for undisclosed reasons, what they say unrelated to the embezzlement charges. The store had been auditing its books in the intervening months, and they found out about this little ditty. Smith has since posted bail.
Oh. $71,000. It's a Toyota. Is it in American money or yen?
It was easy to post bail.
I don't know. I can only imagine.
It is so easy to do because people don't realize how much money runs through a dealership every day.
Yeah.
Whether it's through the service department or through the sales department.
There's quite a bit of cash, too.
There's more cash than people think.
Well,
exactly.
It used to be. I don't know about today. Now, I don't remember where I was. I was somewhere, big sign, we don't take cash.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's all, yeah.
Oh, look at the
Gringos.
toll roads.
Yeah, Gringos is taking cash.
You don't have a toll road anymore that you could throw coins. You got to use your credit card through the drive-through auto easy
Either
pay
that or they take a snapshot of your license plate and mail it
you
to
a
you.
check.
Yeah, with extra charges on it because they had to go through all that manual process.
When I was with AutoNation, I remember having envelopes of cash to drop in the safe, upstairs at AutoNation.
And the other thing you'll see is now some businesses are charging you to use a charge card.
Yes.
So it's,
Doctor's
cash
offices.
is this,
Yep.
and you're going to pay another 2% if you use a charge card because they pay a 2% fee to get the charge card deposited in their system. So they're going to pass that on to you as well.
Doctor's
Screw that.
office is doing that too.
Then they need to raise their prices and include the 2%.
Yeah.
Well, but
You don't share that with anybody. How you divvy up your money is up to you. But don't tell me that you're going to add on. It's like
Well, I think
over MSRP. Nay.
well, the
I
idea.
think their idea is you can save if you use cash. It's kind of like some of the gas stations.
Yeah, and then they get robbed, and then they're going to turn around and raise the prices anyway because they've been robbed a lot.
well, we don't have that much over there.
I remember the
but
Toyota store down by the Astrodome getting robbed twice in one day after the Hurricane
That's kind of
Harvey
stupid, though. I mean, somebody's already robbed them.
invaded
What's
the Astrodome.
left?
Yeah. Hey, Joe
then
was
they
up here
ran
and
into
robbed
the-
you earlier today. You got anything left? We'll stick them up.
And they ran into the Astrodome and never got found.
That's great.
They're
Hemmings.
still there.
Hemmings Marketplace
Uh-oh,
sold
here we
cars.
go.
Hold cars.
Guess the price of my car.
Sold cars roundup.
Where's
Now,
Jerry Emmons when you really need him?
what do you think of the 1989 Cadillac Alante?
I love it. It's the worst car they made.
89 was probably, if it was the last year, it actually wasn't a bad car. They'd learned a lot, and I think that was the only year you could get the North Star engine in it.
And
Prior to that, it had the 4.5 or
and
the 4.1 in
Didn't
it.
they experiment with the 468 on that?
No, not on the. No, the 468 was long gone before the North Star, the Alante came out. But it was made by Italians, and I was at the
They shipped the
engineering-
bodies over.
Yeah, and it was air freighted over here in a 747. I was at the engineering meeting talking about water leaks, and the Italian engineer says, if it doesn't get the driver or the passenger physically wet, we don't consider it a water leak. Just because there's water getting in the car doesn't mean it's a water leak.
my God.
Those things leak like a sieve.
Well, one went up for auction, and it was sold for $9,000.
Yeah.
5 times what it was worth.
Probably.
I remember the Buick Riata as well.
Now, if you were in the market for a Chevrolet Chevelle, a 1972 Chevelle, that would be
Cool car,
how much would you pay for it?
depending on the
SS?
content.
Yeah, condition and mileage,
But I mean,
yeah.
it's red, had black stripes on the hood.
So it's
Had the
probably
big-
an SS.
It has SS on the grill. Now, whether it was a real SS or not,
Right.
So they
28 grand.
28 grand.
Yeah, I'm going for 35
I'll go 50.
in today's market.
Mr. Mars wins $34,125, which, if the car is really a nice car, I'll do 34.
Oh yeah. Well, you see a car like that
the driver.
show up at Tailpipes and Tacos every now and then.
Yeah.
About 2 or 3 of those. That 70 to 72.
I really
generation
like the
SS.
size of that car.
It's a good size.
Mid-size.
That GMA body, which my Oldsmobile is the same size.
Yeah. It's nice because you can get people in the back seat.
Yeah, you can.
Well, and it's a car you can drive.
Now,
travel good travel
here's another one. That is a 1971 Chevrolet C10 half-ton pickup truck.
Oh, very
Now-
popular.
It's a hot body style, and back then it was like it's just another truck.
It's just
Yeah.
a
Exactly.
farm
Work truck.
yeah.
Work
Yeah.
truck.
So guess how much this one sold for? Now it looks like it's all fixed up. But so
36.
Tires, wheels, everything.
did you cheat and look?
No, I did not.
36,884 is what.
Oh,
it sold
wow.
for.
You just got good eyes.
No, I did not see it.
Mercedes-Benz 2003 model, the SL 500, which is their sport coupe. If
This is
you
going
will.
to be way cheaper than you thought.
Yeah, 9 grand.
Not
Yeah,
that
I'll-
cheap.
I'll say 12,
I wouldn't have a clue. Just
SL
I'll go
500.
15
11.
just for the heck of it.
which was the convertible 2-seater.
And remember when they were brand new?
It's a
they were
convertible two-seater?
expensive.
Oh yeah.
$26,249. I wouldn't give you $1 for it.
And it was probably a $80,000 car new.
At least in 2003.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Nostalgia. 1970 VW Beetle.
12.
This, huh?
12.
Just regular Beetle or Super Beetle?
No, it doesn't say, but it looks like a regular Beetle. $6,700.
I was going to say
Yeah, I was
7.
gonna say.
Something's wrong with it. Because it seems to me like a 1970 Volkswagen Beetle would be worth at least 12.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about. 12
Nah.
in any kind of good shape.
Nah.
Tub it out.
And put an LS in the front of it.
There
right?
you go.
How about this one? A 1936 Ford, and it's a convertible, and it looks like it's got a V8 in it. It's all fixed up. It's a hot rod looking car. Solid red.
21.
38.
$22,000.
No!
$22,000.
See, Jeffrey's going to go out and buy that Cadillac Alante.
Now here's one for you, Mars. A 2005 Scion TC.
Ooh.
Oh, that was that weird little square box.
Yeah.
And, but it's no. It's not. It's the little coupe.
The coupe.
Coupe. It's the coupe. The only one that they made that looked good.
And what is
the
it again?
2005 Scion TC. $3,200.
I was going to say
I would
probably
do
4.
that.
Yeah.
I would do that. It's got a
You wouldn't fit in
Toyota
the
motor in it. What?
You wouldn't fit in that car.
It's not that small. No, you would.
I'm thinking,
You had something like
I'm
this
thinking
similar
grandkids.
not very long ago.
It'd be great. It's exactly right. It'd be great for one of the grandkids.
high school car.
Yep. 1940 International Harvester pickup truck.
Uh-oh.
Original.
It looks really good.
40.
I'm thinking 32.
Mars?
What do we
I'm gonna
win?
Go with about 28.
Because Jeff's ahead right now.
By adoration.
Oh, boy.
Gosh.
28.
Did you
Jeff
have,
wins $33,600. And that's a good looking car.
He's closer. He can see.
I did not see these.
No, you didn't. So there you go. So Jeff actually did pretty well.
I watched Meekum.
so you get Don's adoration.
So
That's what you get.
Don had an adoration-ectomy. And you get the leftovers.
Put it on my password.
I mean, I don't know. It just there's a lot of them on here. Here's one that kind of surprised me: a 2010 Camaro for $42,000.
Oh,
It looks
man.
like it's got some sort of body
Save
kit
your
on
money.
it.
it's got to have something.
Yeah,
Save your
Save
money.
Yeah, they
It's
sold it.
already got an LS in it.
It's sold. Somebody
yeah,
somebody bought it for $42,000.
You didn't
Sucker.
mention the Cushman Eagle.
No, because it's not a car.
Yeah.
It's got wheels on it.
Cushman. When I
golf
think of
cart?
a Cushman, all I can
Golf
think
cart.
of is Sears.
Yeah.
think
Did
golf
they
cart.
sell the Cushman?
I think they sold
Yeah,
the
they
Cushman.
did.
Bring that back. Let
We
me
all
see
made
that.
fun of it because back in my day, everything Honda was new to town.
Yeah.
They were affordable and reliable. The Honda 50.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a friend of mine in
Collectible
junior
today.
high school.
Honda 90 was but the guy I went with. He came by, picked me up for school in a Honda 90.
Honda 50.
And a guy you went with? Say that again?
Went to school.
No, went to school with him
He probably had it right the other way around. But
Hey,
in Nederland.
in Nederland, yeah, that was all the talk of the town. Here's
Not
a,
a big town either.
here's a news story.
So you need a
Speaking of
cushion.
that, 2 weeks, we're going to be over in your neck of the woods doing a remote broadcast. Is Becky coming?
Yes, she will.
All right.
She'll be out
Are
there.
you serious?
It's
You know,
really
the
a
last
big
time
deal.
I saw your wife?
Probably since I have. I don't
Probably
know.
the last time. Probably the last time he saw her.
15 years ago? 15 years ago.
That was at
well,
one
that's
of-
right.
That was at one of Don's weddings.
She was at the auto show, and you weren't.
Yeah, automotive show. Yeah, she recognized me because he was dressed like the guy from Poison or whatever.
Def Leppard.
Def Leppard.
Mars. This is the group that you should be in. I can see you joining this group. A group of climate activists
Oh boy.
has claimed responsibility for puncturing the tires of at least
Oh, I heard
43
that.
SUVs
Yeah.
in the Beacon Hill suburb of Boston and attaching notes to the vehicles informing owners that, quote, your gas guzzler kills, end quote.
Yes. So does my 38. Touch my car again, bozo.
The group, known as the Tire Extinguishers. Now, T-Y-R-E
That's European
extinguishers
spelling.
acknowledged responsibility in a blog post published on Thursday, the night following the vandalism. The group took this action this is a quote from their statement. The group took this action to render the large greenhouse gas-emitting vehicles unusable, directly preventing the outpouring of emissions from the vehicles into our atmosphere.
And they all climbed into a Suburban to get away.
Which further contribute to climate change and air pollution.
Idiots.
The organization added that, quote, SUVs are a dangerous and unnecessary environmental atrocity, especially in city governments where there are sustainable transport options available to everyone.
Thank you, Greta. No Thunberg.
Tire extinguishers further clarified that climate activists had taken this action in Beacon Hill, as it is one of the wealthiest neighborhoods in Boston to own a house.
Yeah.
It's not an exaggeration to say that the richest individuals in the world are causing the current and future deaths of the less fortunate and less developed nations and people, the letter concluded.
Stupid people.
After wrecking dozens of SUVs, the climate vigilantes attached notes to car dashboards explaining, "We have deflated one or more of your tires. You'll be angry, but don't take it personally. It's not you, it's your car."
We'll have to get Stephen Woodard on and find out, in Texas, is it legal to shoot them if they're damaging your vehicle?
Beneath the organization's statement was a brief biological note stating that Tire Extinguishers has members in 15 countries and have deflated more than 10,000 SUV tires since March of 22.
Wow.
The group stated that Wednesday's vandalism accounted for its 18th action in 2023. The Boston Police Department confirmed that 10 victims have been interviewed so far, but no arrests have been made.
2 center mass and 1 to the head ends recidivism.
Well, and what they're not thinking about, just to go beyond the idiocy and destruction of private property, when those vehicles, people get up, they go out there, they got a flat tire, they're going to call a wrecker, and they're going to call a service to come out there. So that's another vehicle on the road emitting
guzzling,
gases,
gas guzzling and gas emitting vehicle like a wrecker.
And if you're late for work, you're going to go call a cab or Uber or somebody to go to work while that's getting done. So now there's another vehicle that's out there that's emitting gases because of you and your silly ass vehicle that you drove over there emitting gases.
Hey,
did you?
He said the word ass.
He said silly before.
It was silly donkey. My bad.
Mules are.
Mule.
Did you hear the other day about that parking garage
Monty, the singing
in
donkey.
New York that collapsed?
Yes.
And one of the theories was there were too many EVs parked on that level.
Yes.
The weight of them.
I have that story.
Oh, perfect. There you go.
Yeah, matter of fact, I'll do it now.
Sure.
I got to find it. Give me just a second.
Well, I found a friend of mine on Facebook I used to work with at a clothing company back in high school. And I was working on the machines in the clothing company, and he was a diesel fitter. So, as the clothing would move down the assembly line, I'd make sure all the machines were working. And he worked at the end of the line, and he had a mannequin there. And as the clothes would come off the end of the line, he'd pick them up and he'd hold them up and he'd go, "Yep, diesel fitted."
Diesel fitted.
Diesel fitted.
It's nice.
He was a diesel fitter.
And what manufacturer was this?
Levi's.
Levi's.
Diesel fitted.
Diesel fit. Great. Electric vehicles might be too heavy for some parking garages that were built with smaller, lighter cars in mind, according to a report from the British Parking Association. Many multi-story garages across the United Kingdom were built in the 1960s and 70s and could be too weak to bear the added weight that EVs have, according to the report. Battery packs weighing thousands of pounds can make EVs significantly heavier than gasoline-powered vehicles, especially the small cars that have long been commonplace in the UK. Tesla Model S weighs nearly 5,000 pounds, while a GMC Hummer EV tops 9,000 pounds. For comparison, a 1970 Ford Escort weighs less than 2,000 pounds. Now, weight isn't the only concern EVs have raised for parking garage operators after General Motors recalled the Chevy Bolt for a defect that caused a small number of battery fires. Some garages put up signs prohibiting bolts, which goes hand in hand with the garage collapse in New York this week. They killed a person.
Yeah.
And the garages weren't. And the one thing that comes to my mind is the old Foley's department store garage in downtown Houston. Now, the store no longer exists, but the parking garage does.
Oh, does it?
Yeah. And it's got those really low ceilings, so you ain't getting any a new truck in there.
Yeah.
So it's strictly for cars, but
they still have to be inspected. Those parking garages have to be inspected. Chris, the guitar player, he was an engineer for a firm that built parking garages.
Yeah.
So he knows all about that. He would, talk shop and stuff.
Well, we covered a collapse inside of a brand new building, and it was the stairwell that collapsed and killed several workers out there in it used to be called Town and Country. Now it's called City Center out there at the Beltway and I-10.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, we couldn't see anything, but because it was the stairwell that collapsed, and it was like a 9-10-story building.
Oh, boy.
Mm-hmm. Then it pancaked all the way down. It was bad. But the engineering part of it.
All these EVs and all that extra weight are driving on our highways and crossing our bridges. That is creating more stress and then not generating any tax revenue through gas taxes that help pay the highways and pay for the highways and fix the bridges.
So the new way is going to...
And then you got these twits out there stabbing your tires because you're driving an SUV.
Well, I will tell you that that whole thing about the switchover from gasoline to electric is going to affect all of us in the fact that, like you mentioned, the roadways, a lot of the money goes from that gas tax to help pay for the roadways. Well, if you don't have the gas tax, now what are you going to do? So now they're talking about taxing EVs separately, either by mileage or by your license plate.
Well, in those road funds, I mean, you're talking about the garages and stuff, but how many old bridges are out there that are going to have to be beat up?
That's the scariest thing is the old bridges.
Because of that weight.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and, there's one coming into this neighborhood. I don't know when it was built, but a long time ago.
Oh, yeah.
Remember, this neighborhood was built in 1912.
They just refurbished that bridge.
No.
Not very long ago.
No, they did not.
What were they doing down there?
Well,
didn't they just announce some big renovation of an Imperial Sugar building right down here somewhere, too?
Well, that's been an ongoing thing.
Yeah.
The Char House, which is what you see down here.
Yeah.
That whole area is being redeveloped. They're going to keep the Char House, but it's going to be a mixed-use building, and I would imagine it'll be retail on the bottom and really, really cool apartments, lofts inside it, because they have huge ceilings inside between each floor. There was an industrial building. Yeah. They made sugar there. Yeah. So we can't wait. They haven't seen all the plans yet, but that is a wheel in motion right now.
I think there's some renderings out somewhere.
But that bridge that you crossed to come here, I don't know when it was built, but again, the neighborhood they've overtopped that bridge with asphalt for
That's
years
what they were
and years
doing.
and years.
Probably doing something like that.
And they've also...
that adds to the weight.
That and the fact that what you're referring to is a deal where that's Oyster Creek,
right,
by the way. And the walls of Oyster Creek were falling in, and right there where the bridge was, so they had to bolster
shore it up.
Bolster all that back up. But at any rate, so with the electric cars going across old bridges and going into old parking garages, there's going to be more collapses, I guarantee you. For what that's worth.
Yeah.
Time now for Conrad's Car Clinic. Do you have that?
Yep.
What about events?
Well, we haven't. We'll get to that. Thank you. What about them?
We already did them.
So there's some battery breakthroughs that provide 5 times the driving range of lithium-ion batteries at a lower price. Scientists at the University of Michigan have a breakthrough lithium-sulfur technology that could lead to widespread adoption of batteries with 5 times the energy density of today's lithium-ion. Lithium-sulfur batteries already exist, but they're held back from widespread adoption by problems inherent in their design. Scientists at the University of Michigan now believe that they've solved these problems with a major breakthrough in the field. Before we get into that, here's a quick overview of the components of a battery. There are 4 components to a battery. There's the cathode, the anode, the electrolyte, and the separator. The cathode is the positive side of the battery that allows the current to flow out of the battery, and the anode is the negative counterpart of the battery that draws the electricity back in. The electrolyte is basically the liquid in the battery that allows the movement of the ions between the cathode and the anode. And then there's a separator that keeps those two parts from touching each other. The lithium-sulfur battery's Achilles heel is the cathode, and Michigan scientists believe they may have a solution for that weakness. The current problems with lithium-sulfur batteries are that the cathode expands and contracts by 78% with each charging. So the battery gets fat and then shrinks back in size, and that becomes part of the problem. So making them unable to compete with the lithium-ion battery because of how much faster the lithium-sulfur batteries will degrade and fail. Before the Michigan breakthrough, it meant the lifespan of just 10 charging cycles for a lithium-sulfur battery. The breakthrough design, the scientists were inspired by the natural world, specifically the membrane, which serves to protect the organic cells by using recycled Kevlar. The team was able to create a network of nanofibers. Everything's nano now, isn't it? Nanofibers which support the cathode and allow it to cope with the fluctuations it experiences without degrading. Over in the early days, but the team believed that their discovery could lead to a lithium-sulfur EV batteries that'll last up to 10 years of driving. So if you think of, the longest range electric car that's out there right now is the Lucid Air. They say it'll go 520 miles on a charge. If that was switched over to a lithium-sulfur battery, it may go as many as 2,600 miles between charges.
Wow.
But you only got 10 charges out of it.
On a single. Well, that's what the Michigan University is trying to deal with, is the chargeability of it. With more extreme power density of a lithium-sulfur battery, that will allow smaller batteries in the cars of the future, which deals with what we just talked about how that weight of the battery is becoming an issue in parking garages. That's not their purpose of it. Their purpose of it is to extend the range and reduce the weight of the vehicle. But that technology is right around the corner, and it's coming fast.
Cool.
So hopefully the University of Michigan will be successful.
I saw my first two Tesla Amazon trucks this past week.
Oh, you did?
I did.
Huh.
Were they Teslas? I thought those were Rivians.
Oh, it might have been.
Because they have that weird headlight with the line in the middle of
it. Reminded me of a Tesla. They could have been Rivian. But I saw two of them. They were hauling mule.
Hauling mule.
Hauling donkey.
No, they were going faster than that, so they were hauling mule.
I got you. Okay. Time now for a break. We'll be right back here on the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Stay with us.
Are you a car enthusiast? Come experience the 27th Annual Keels and Wheels Classic Car and Boat Show. Join us Saturday, May 6th and Sunday, May 7th at the Lakewood Yacht Club in Seabrook. This fun family event features vintage and contemporary race cars from Le Mans, Indy, Formula One, NASCAR, and much more. See classic and vintage boats of all types, not to mention American and European pre- and post-war classics. Pre-sale tickets are $30. Students are just $15. Children 12 and under are free. Purchase your tickets today at keelsandwheels.com.
Everyone at the Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In at the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy, thank you for participating in the best cruise in around, and look forward to seeing you again. You'll hear about the next cruise in date right here on In Wheel Time. Next time you're in the West Houston Energy Corridor area, be sure and stop in at the original Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex at I-10 and Highway 6, or the Katy location on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard. When passing through Beaumont or College Station, stop in and have Lupi's award-winning beef fajitas and frozen margaritas. There's always a celebration at Lupi Tortilla. Lupi Tortilla founder Stan Holt and his wife Sheila are winning racers on the NHRA drag racing circuit and have a collection of hot rods and classics that everyone appreciates. Look for them at the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In. The date will be announced soon and will once again be held at the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex on 99 and Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10 and Katy. We'll give you all the details right here on the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show and online. Donations benefit God's Garage. We'll see you then. You own a car you love. Well, why not let Gulf Coast Auto Shield protect it? Houstonian John Gray invites you to his state-of-the-art facility to introduce you to his specialist team of auto enthusiasts. We promise you'll be impressed. Whether you're looking to massage your original paint to a like-new appearance, apply a ceramic coating, install a paint protection film, nano-ceramic window tint, or new windshield protection called ExoShield, Gulf Coast Auto Shield is where Houston's car people go. Curbed your wheels? Instead of buying new, why not have them repaired? How about a professionally installed radar detector? Gulf Coast Auto Shield does that too. Get a peek inside the shop and look at the services offered by getting online and heading to gcautoshield.com. Better yet, stop by their facility at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway, and get a personal tour. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your place to go for all things exterior. Call them today, 832-930-5655 or gcautoshield.com. Live from the Sugar Shack in Texas, USA, it's the Ed Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Coming up, Eric Lipper with Keels and Wheels. Mr. Mars drives the Cadillac Escalade V.
Yeah, baby.
He'll tell you about it and the gas consumption in it. We'll also have the events calendar, and later, Brandon Emmons with next weekend's In Wheel Time Remote. It's not next weekend.
2 weekends.
It's 2 weekends away at the Riverfest Car Show in Port Neches Groves.
There's a river in Port Nachos?
Yeah, the Port Nachos River.
Plus the stories
Is it
making automotive news headlines.
BYOT, bring your own tube?
Yeah.
Howdy, along with Mike Out of This World Mars, King Conrad DeLong. We always need more Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. Thanks so much for joining us today. Eric Lipper is with Keels and Wheels, and he is a board member down there and with the upcoming Concours d'Elegance at the Lakewood Yacht Club. Eric, good morning to you.
Well, good morning, guys. How are y'all doing?
Well, we're doing great. Thanks for asking. And
We wish we had what you have in your garage. Looks like you're a collector of Shelbys.
Well, you're in the background are the Shelbys, but it moderates as you move around the garage, but I'm not going to bother moving the computer because I'll probably mess it up.
Yep.
Now, we're aware of that. We're familiar with that. We do that all the time here.
Yes.
So the Keels and Wheels, a yearly event. It's been going on for quite some time. And
It is.
And we have been involved in the past few years. We're not going to be there physically. We already had another event booked. But Keels and Wheels is really, it is the premier Concours d'Elegance. Mm-hmm. And what is the theme this year?
Well, this is a very interesting year this year. It's the 70th anniversary of the Corvette. We're going to have the National Corvette Museum there, and we're going to have displayed toward the entrance of the club a C1 through a C8 to represent all the models of the cars.
Oh, cool.
So it's a big year for Corvette.
Well, I assume that you're going to have some very unique Corvettes because over the years there have been some very unique Corvettes produced. Some of them are one-offs. Others are actually very rare cars. You going to have any of those there?
Certainly. I'll tell you, one of the most interesting Corvettes that's going to be there, which I've never seen, comes from the Chaparral collection in Midland, which has a turbine in it. It was an experimental car, and they promised that they're going to try and even start it at the show.
Oh, wow.
Yep. It's going to be a great Corvette year. It's going to be a great MG year. And we also have a lot of race cars this year. It's a theme we haven't done in a while. One of our local Texas celebrities is going to be there, Ben Keating, who I believe is from like Victoria down south, has a bunch of car dealerships. And
I was going to say, I thought that Keating Oldsmobile used to be a horse here in town.
Keating also has the Viper store in Tomball. He's got the Ford and the Chrysler store in Tomball, and next to the Chrysler store is the Viper Connection.
Yeah.
Or Viper Exchange. And then he drives a C5 Corvette in World Endurance Challenge, I believe, this year as well.
We're real excited to have him because he's certainly a celebrity worth meeting.
No doubt. Well, do you have any? Tell me more about the Corvette. 70 years of Corvette. Obviously, one of each generation, 1 through 8, because the current one for sale by your Chevrolet dealership is the C8 Corvette. I personally own a C5. Do you own any Corvettes?
I do. I've got, and it'll be in the what we call the Corvette Museum at the show. I have a 63 split window coupe.
Oh, wow.
And,
that ends this conversation.
Okay, thanks for playing.
That to me, that's the holy grail of Corvettes.
What powertrain's in it?
It's a 300 horse, so 327 4-speed. But what makes my car interesting, and this is Corvette nonsense in a sense, is it is a factory knockoff car, documented. So, there weren't a lot of knockoffs in '63 because they had trouble with the wheels. So it'll be there.
Oh.
I was not aware of that.
Yep. With that center spinner, and you'd hit the center spinner with a lead hammer to knock them off. So you'd take that center nut off, the wheel would come off. It wasn't successful.
The real problem they had was Kelsey Hayes cast the wheels, and they had trouble with their casting. And
knocking the wings off.
No, it was the wheels were too porous. They all leaked. That was the big problem. So they went back and reformulated.
Have you solved that issue? Does yours have the leaks or no?
It does have the leaks, and the car is sitting over at the Asylum in Bel Air, and I'm got to go get it for this afternoon to go get it, and I'm certain I'll have to put air in the tires.
Well, wouldn't a tube work in that? Jeff's our tire guy.
Tube would work if that's the way you want to go.
Well, that would not be the ideal thing. No. But if you wanted to, keep the tires pumped up,
it depends on how long you drive it, where you drive it. It's a show car, obviously.
It is, and it takes about 8 weeks for the tires to drop to about 10 pounds. And so, if every 8 weeks, it gives you something to do.
Yeah, it's not dramatic.
Well, that's really not bad though. I mean, I've had nails that drop air faster than that in my tires.
Yeah. So it's all because the metal was porous. How funny! I've never heard that before, and I learned something new today.
Well,
so how long did they offer knockoff wheels on Corvettes?
So the knockoffs became very popular in '64 because they solved their problems. It was '63 that they offered them and then stopped very quickly. So they were there. I think the knockoffs lasted all the way through C2.
Okay. Through 67.
Yes. And today you'll see more Corvettes. It's like Cobra replicas. You'll see a whole bunch more Corvettes today with knockoffs than were born with them. And the knockoffs now conceal the lug nuts. So there's people with knockoffs that look like knockoffs, but they're actually a cap over the nut.
So they got fake knockers, huh?
It's a knockoff on a knockoff.
It's a knockoff on a knockoff.
Yeah, I can't comment on the fake knockers though.
Yeah. Well, I've seen them for sale. You can buy them around, but the original ones obviously are the holy grail, if you will.
There's a company called American Wires that sells them.
Oh, really?
Yep.
But remember, if that's what you're going with, that means a new hub.
Yeah.
To mount them.
No, it means new spindles and stuff as well.
All of
that's
that.
all integrated.
Yeah. Well, that's very interesting. Is your 63 a red one?
Of course. One of the unique things about my collection is I only collect red cars.
Have you ever showed all of your cars at the same time?
I have not shown them all at the same time. The most that I do at one time is Keels and Wheels. I'll have 3 cars there this year. A lot of work.
I was just going to say, how in the world? I would be nuts. I would go. You'd have to get the funny wagon out there for me because 3 cars. I have a hard enough time showing 1 car, and you know what that's like. I know what it's like to show a car on that scale because all of the cars out there are top notch. Now, besides the Corvettes, let's talk about the race cars. I understand that you've got them from most of the series. You got Le Mans, Indy, Formula One, NASCAR. All of those cars are going to be there?
Yes, sir. We're going to have a great assortment.
Yeah. Now, are these actual cars that actually ran in those series?
Yes, sir. And not only are they actual cars that ran in the series, several of these cars have serious winning trophies that go along with them.
Interesting. And whose NASCAR car do you have?
I'm going to have to plead ignorance on whose NASCAR car it is because I think that it's not on my cheat sheet.
Okay. Well, what is on your cheat sheet?
Well, let me tell you what's on my
let's go
sheet.
with that.
Yeah. Just don't grade my paper, Professor.
Okay.
So one of the exciting things is we've got Aaron Shelby coming again this year. He's been at the show before.
He's been on this show.
We've had
when
him
he was
on
there.
our show as well.
A great guy.
Yeah, and for those of your listeners that don't know, he is Carol Shelby's grandson, so he's got definitely connection to the master.
Yep.
Brian Baker, who is the director of the National Corvette Museum, is going to be there because, of course, we're honoring Corvettes. And then a local celebrity that we probably all know from driving around the freeways in Houston is Tony Gullo.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
We're honoring Tony with an award that we call Collector of the Year because he's been so important to our hobby. The show, of course, for your listeners, even though it's in wheel time and this is a car-oriented show, we also have, for listeners that love antique boats, about 60 antique boats that will be there.
In the water, too, I might add.
Yes, sir.
Small and large.
And then one of the other things that makes our show unique is we are going to have the Icon amphibious aircraft there at the show, which is LSA, light sport aircraft that has had a lot of real interest to help generate the light sport aviation world. We're going to have that there.
Well, I also noticed you're bringing in some cars from the Permian Basin Museum.
We are.
So those are these truly Jim Hall cars, the Chaparral cars?
They are. They are Jim Hall's Chaparral cars, and one of the unique ones, which of course I have not seen, is not only is his race cars coming, they built an experimental Corvette with a turbine. So let's hope it gets to start at the show. It's always fun to hear a car that sounds like a helicopter.
Well, and that the collection up there really doesn't travel very often, from what I understand, but has a huge, most all of the Chaparrals through the years are there, and how innovative Jim Hall was as a race car builder, to the point where one year he'd bring a car out and the next year they'd outlaw it because, well, he had that huge movable wing in the back for aerodynamics, and then he built the 2J, which was the vacuum car. It actually had
sucked down.
I think snowmobile motors in the back that created a low pressure underneath to hold it on the ground.
Yep.
And every year he'd come out with a car and dominate, and then the next year they'd outlaw that car. So pretty creative, pretty genius of a car builder.
So I want to set the scene, Eric, for those that don't know about Keels and Wheels. And I think that part of the success, if not most of it, is because of the Lakewood Yacht Club and the setting that you guys have created out there with all these beautiful cars from all different years, makes, models. This is a by invitation event, so you have to submit your car and then show pictures of it and tell the group at Keels and Wheels about it, and then they decide whether or not you're going to get in. So this is by an invitation only for these cars. And I think that along with the fact that the Lakewood Yacht Club is such a beautiful setting down there along the bay in Seabrook, and it really is it's a wonderful event. And if you've never been, I would invite everybody to go and see how the cars are displayed amongst those beautiful oak trees down there right on the harbor.
How many cars do you have this year?
We have 216 cars, which is the largest number we've ever had. And it's all types and all types of classes. And every car that has been entered is going to be an extraordinarily good example of the breed.
And you have some very unique judges that you guys bring in to judge the cars and go over them. And just the judges alone are so well schooled in so many areas of automotive history, and the way that these
brand that they judge.
These Concours cars have to be prepared in how they're presented on the field. I mean, these are such intricate things that go on behind the scenes that most people really don't know.
Right. Well, one of my favorite things about the show is one year I was walking around and I look at this guy and I said, boy, that looks like Dennis Gage. And it was. And then a few minutes later, I said, boy, that looks like Barry Maguire. And it was.
Yeah.
So automotive royalty shows up at this sort of event, which makes it fun for our market.
Well, we had Barry on the show.
We did have Barry on the show. We did.
You probably recognize Gage by his mustache, his handlebar mustache.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And it's just it's a fun event, very family oriented. Of course, children under 12 get in free, so that encourages families to bring their kids. We love to encourage kids into the hobby, and it's a stay all day kind of event. We're going to have great food, if you want it, great alcohol, and it's just a nice event and a beautiful chance to sit around and enjoy Clear Lake, which is one of the great amenities of our community here.
Well, and one of the other neat things is at Lakewood Yacht Club is that the membership at the yacht club volunteer as the hosts and the greeters and stuff. So generally, you know, there so many nice people are making sure they're there to take care of you as a guest at their club. It kind of puts it a little bit over the top as far as how they take care of you when you get on property as well.
Yeah, well, we pride ourselves in trying in this event, and the fun part about it is this event was started originally, and it was small, and it has really gained a national reputation to where cars will come from all over the country, and from as far as Oregon and as far east as Maine, we've had cars and boats as well.
And I know generally you guys also get some participation from the Peterson Museum in L.A. What kind of car are they bringing this year?
I don't know what the Peterson is doing this year. I know that last year Bruce Meyer was here at the show, who, of course, is
the Manx.
One of the principal people behind that museum. But I don't know what car the Peterson has.
I know they got some killer Corvettes at that museum.
Oh, they've got everything. If you're in California and get a chance to tour the vault, you know, a few years ago they brought their Elvis Pantera out here, which is the car that Elvis bought for his girlfriend, and it couldn't get started, so Elvis shot the car.
Nice.
And the Peterson has the car bullet hole and all preserved.
Yeah.
Well,
did I see something about the Little Deuce Coupe going to be here?
I not on my cheat sheet, so.
Well, I wasn't sure I saw that, so we'll both go. We'll skip that one and go on.
Yeah. I don't want to get in trouble.
What are the hours, Saturday and Sunday?
The show is from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Saturday, and on Sunday, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. One of the unique experiences of our show is if you come on Sunday afternoon, when the show ends at 4 p.m., at 4:05, cars start driving back out of the club onto NASA Road 1. So if you want to see a pre-war car driving down NASA Road 1, that's your chance, is Sunday afternoon.
Parade.
Yeah.
Love it.
And for people that want to come, you can buy your ticket online for $30, or you can buy it at the gate for $40. And while we certainly would like to get 40 instead of 30 for those that plan ahead, you can get it at keels-wheels.com.
Yeah, I just posted that on our social media.
Thank you.
Well, this is the 27th annual Keels and Wheels Concours d'Elegance at the Lakewood Yacht Club. And Eric, it's great to talk to you. Best of luck to you, and tell everybody down there that we said hello.
Well worth going to.
And I look forward to a great show. Thank you for having us on today, guys.
Thank you, man. Talk to you soon. Eric Lippman.
You bet.
It is a great show.
I was going to volunteer to Eric if he needs anybody to drive any of those GT500s or GT350s.
I bet he's got lots of volunteers.
I'll be happy to volunteer.
Time now for the events calendar. Mr. Conrad.
So this afternoon.
Clearly, Keels and Wheels is on that.
Yep. Well, that's why we just talked about them next weekend. Saturdays at the ranch at Ranch Harley Davidson, Highway 6 Frontage Road and College Station. That starts at 11 p.m. today, goes to 3. Also at 11 p.m. is the 20-year anniversary celebration at Gateway Classic at the 1910 Cypress Station Drive in Houston, and that's a free cruise-in. Today at 1 o'clock is another free cruise-in to Simply Country. They're going to meet at the Hard Bean at the Silos.
So this is a cruise-in.
Yeah.
These aren't events.
Well, these are cruise-in events.
No.
The Hard Bean at the Silos.
No, they're not cruise-in. No, we have
Beaumont, Texas.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the cruise-in calendar that Conrad had nothing on. So these are
that's because it was all over here.
It was all over here on the events calendar side.
And then tonight at 3 p.m. to 10 p.m. is Nifty 50s off of Buckthorn Place in the Woodlands. Splendora Car Meet is at 5 to 7 p.m. in Splendora at 26175 FM 2090. And then the Sounds of Seguin Car Show at Seguin High School. And that's at 10 p.m. And then
10 p.m.
10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Sorry. No, I didn't read this before.
and he's got cruise-ins mixed in with events. We haven't gotten into the events yet.
And then, I'm waiting for the racing calendar.
Oh God. Yeah, no, tell him it's going to be something in the
tomorrow at 8 a.m. Car Church at Segundo Coffee Lab in Houston. Off of Milby, Clutch Bar Meet off of Washington Avenue tomorrow at 3 p.m. And then at 5 p.m. tomorrow, Freddy's Steak Burgers out in Katy. And also tomorrow is Freddy's Steak Burgers off of 1960 in Eldridge. Uh-huh. The Park and Chill at Bahama Mama in Tomball, Texas at 9116 Grand Parkway. And that's tomorrow night at 6 p.m.
Cool. So that's the events calendar. So why don't you give us the cruising calendar now?
Okay. Just rerun that, Mike.
Oh, okay. So you want us to move on? Is that what you're trying to say?
You always complain I take too long, so.
Well, that has nothing to do with the right one. Golly. Oh, it's a tough crowd. Ladies and gentlemen, time now.
Tough room.
For this hour's car review. Mike Mars reviews the Cadillac Escalade.
Oh, man.
V-Series, not just
four-wheel drive. Actually, it's all-wheel drive.
That's a trim. The V is a trim level.
Well, it's way beyond just trim.
Can I start now?
Sure, go for it.
Now let us go ahead and argue this about. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah. So y'all, we'll come back to y'all in a little while then on that one. So it is the 2023 Cadillac Escalade B Series four-wheel drive. It's a technical term for it. I'm going to call it an all-wheel drive because it's pretty much all-time four-wheel drive. And this is the V Series, and to whatever they were talking about earlier, it's basically an Escalade hot rod. I mean, this is the only way to fly. It is a full-size luxury SUV that is a really hauls donkey whenever you want it to. Depending, this particular vehicle is set up for 7 passengers, is what they say. I'm personally going to stay with the 2 adults in the front, 2 adults in the captain's chairs, and then the kids in the back. And for the exterior, the V-Series has a different front and rear fascia. It's got a special grille up there on the front of it. We happen to have the $1,225 paint option that was worth every bit of it. I got so many compliments on the color and the paint quality of that vehicle.
It's bad to the bone, brother.
I'm telling you.
That's the red one, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And had the power running boards. They call them assist steps. They came out quick. Some of them I've actually had to wait on to come out, but this thing, you're ready to step up there, and they are there. Rolls on some unique 22-inch wheels on the outside of it. Got a sunroof, got a power lift gate. Actually has the glass that will lift in the tailgate. I used it once, and I was surprised whenever it popped open instead of the tailgate. Yes, it is. So, but you roll into the interior, got leather seating. The first row is heated and ventilated with massaging, I have to say. The second row is another set of bucket seats. The third row is a split 60-40 folding seat, which, again, that's for the children. Got some zebra wood trim throughout. Had a 16-inch touchscreen sitting up there in the middle of it. Had a 14.2-inch driver screen with a heads-up display. So there's lots of information out there that you can spread that out on. And basically, this is basically an Escalade, but it's got the special stuff, including the badging for the V Series.
Everything about it is V.
It is.
The seats are special. The all of it is special.
And you're going to find out how much that's going to cost you here. And it also had the AKG, which I'd never heard of, but an AKG 36-speaker audio system built into this thing. And I don't care where
Jimmy
you're at
Buffett
in it.
never sounded any better.
And no matter where you're at in there, you can make it sound good. Now, getting down to the fun stuff. Up under the hood to make this thing go is a hand-built 6.2-liter supercharged V8 engine. Now, this engine, there is the supercharged engine in the CT5 V Series. This is actually a larger supercharger because of where it sits in the engine compartment to get the air up into it, get the airflow going and stuff.
More room.
Running at 10 pounds boost, but it's got to compensate for where it's at to get the air in there. 682 horsepower and 653 pound-feet of torque with a 10-speed automatic transmission behind it. And it is capable of towing up to 7,000 pounds, by the way, and I bet you it tows pretty quick. The EPA says you should be looking for 11 in the city, 16 on the highway, 13 combined premium fuel. This is a premium fuel vehicle. I drove this vehicle 332.8 miles, so I had a lot of highway miles on it.
Ladies and gentlemen, here's the fun part.
And so it kind of fades over to the highway, 16 miles per gallon. But I actually, the week I had it and put gas in it twice, It was 13.6 miles to the gallon is the average.
Actually, that's not too bad.
How is the on-ramp acceleration test?
Let me tell you.
That right rear tire no longer exists.
I will say, yeah, it's Cadillac says 0 to 60 in 4.4 seconds, 12.74 and a quarter mile at 110 miles an hour.
And what did you get, Mars?
Well, obviously, we can't go put it on a track. I mean, I wouldn't dare put it on a track without their permission.
You don't have to put it on the track.
I would not argue these. I would not argue these statistics in any form or fashion. I'm just going to tell you, and I will tell you another thing that helped me with the fuel economy. I mean, I tried to
tailwind.
No,
he didn't drive it.
I sat on the front porch with a remote start,
sail on the top of it.
You crank that thing up, and it's got a really unique sound
the neighbors
to it.
Up.
No, it
does. It does, and it's almost like the RPMs. Whenever you change gears or you downshift, it adjusts. When you started, wow, and it's really cool at 4 o'clock in the morning.
I was just going to say the police came, didn't they?
Well, the lights came on in the neighbor's house. Let me just say that. So anyway, we did a lot of that. That was a lot of fun there. Got a magnetic ride control with air ride system. So, it's got a great ride when you get it out on the highway. It also has launch control, by the way. I just wanted to mention that.
You found that.
Yeah, I found that. Mm-hmm. So you have
30 seconds left.
And you can get a regular Escalade at $72,295 starting.
No, you can't find one for that.
That's base model price. Okay. So base trim price for an Escalade B Series, $149,195.
Yeah.
However, we had a few extras on top of that.
Yours as tested.
$155,365 is the MSRP as tested.
Chump change.
You want something to compare it to?
They build.
Yes, because they're only going to build 2,750 of them per year. The only two I found that I would even think comparable
10 seconds.
is the GLS 63 AMG, 603 horsepower at $139,000. The Land Rover, 523 horsepower at $193,100. If you want one, get it. You will not regret it.
Are you a car enthusiast? Come experience the 27th annual Keels and Wheels Classic Car and Boat Show. Join us Saturday, May 6th and Sunday, May 7th at the Lakewood Yacht Club in Seabrook. This fun family event features vintage and contemporary race cars from Le Mans, Indy, Formula One, NASCAR, and much more. See classic and vintage boats of all types, not to mention American and European pre- and post-war classics. Pre-sale tickets are $30. Students are just $15. Children 12 and under are free. Purchase your tickets today at keelsandwheels.com.
Everyone at the Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise Inn at the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy, thank you for participating in the best cruise in around and look forward to seeing you again. You'll hear about the next cruise in date right here on In Wheel Time. Next time you're in the West Houston Energy Corridor area, be sure and stop in at the original Loopy Tortilla Tex-Mex at I-10 and Highway 6 or the Katy location on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard. When passing through Beaumont or College Station, stop in and have Loopy's award-winning beef fajitas and frozen margaritas. There's always a celebration at Loopy Tortilla. Loopy Tortilla founder Stan Holt and his wife Sheila are winning racers on the NHRA drag racing circuit and have a collection of hot rods and classics that everyone appreciates. Look for them at the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In. The date will be announced soon and will once again be held at the Loopy Tortilla Tex-Mex on 99 and Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10 and Katy. We'll give you all the details right here on the In Real Time Car Talk Show and online. Donations benefit God's Garage. We'll see you then. You own a car you love. Well, why not let Gulf Coast Auto Shield protect it? Houstonian John Gray invites you to his state-of-the-art facility to introduce you to his specialist team of auto enthusiasts. We promise you'll be impressed. Whether you're looking to massage your original paint to a like-new appearance, apply a ceramic coating, install a paint protection film, nano-ceramic window tint, or new windshield protection called ExoShield, Gulf Coast Auto Shield is where Houston's car people go. Curbed your wheels? Instead of buying new, why not have them repaired? How about a professionally installed radar detector? Gulf Coast Auto Shield does that too. Get a peek inside the shop and look at the services offered by getting online and heading to gcautoshield.com. Better yet, stop by their facility at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway, and get a personal tour. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your place to go for all things exterior. Call them today, 832-930-5655 or gcautoshield.com. We're on a roll today. It's the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Coming up, we talk with Brandon Emmons with the Riverfest Car Show. Later, look at the stories making automotive news headlines this week, and we're going to try to find out what the cruise-in calendar is from Conrad.
Nope.
Howdy, along with Mike out of this world, Mars, King Conrad DeLong. We need more, Jeff Zekin, yes, always. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join us today. We are going to go riverfesting. We've never been.
What?
We've been invited. We're going to go. It's coming up on May 6th and 7th. And it actually is as Mars said, well, why don't you just stay over there and listen, okay? Just stay over there. Huh?
Go ahead.
All right. So we have with us Brandon Emmons. I mentioned that. Brandon, good morning.
How's it going, guys?
Well, very well. We understand that you have some apparently low bandwidth going on, so you're in a little square box in our video. But whatever, world. As long as we can hear you, we're good. So you are part of the C10 Truck Club, and are you the one that's putting on the car show at the Riverfest?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, we're going to have to reestablish it because this is not going to work.
We go back up.
Okay.
Use the phone.
All right.
Give me a minute.
All right. We're going to give him a minute because we're going to get him on the telephone because the video doesn't work over there. He doesn't have a lot over there.
Like a Godzilla movie. Ask a question, wait 7 seconds for an answer.
Hey, we know how that goes.
We do. We dealt with that early on this morning. It is. It's always his fault.
Got to have somebody to blame.
Into the table. That's
right.
all.
He's the Wi-Fi didn't have yet.
Alrighty then.
Boy, there's a joke there, and I'm not going to tell it.
Don't go there, Conrad. Do not do that.
You knew it was coming, Mars.
You're going to get yours.
There's no doubt. Mm-hmm. So
you're going to pay alimony to Mike now?
There's no alimony in Texas. Thank you, God. Because I am the Johnny Carson of Houston, Texas.
Yes, you are.
When it comes to that.
But you're our Johnny Carson.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Don Armstrong because nobody else wants to be.
Nobody else wants to be me. And I wouldn't want to be me either.
No.
Yeah. I'm called a mess. Don, you're not just a mess, but a hot mess.
Oh, boy.
Is that from Leslie?
Uh-huh. You're a hot mess. I realize that. And I have my mother to thank for that because she was a hot mess, too. Anyway, got to blame it on somebody.
Can't blame that one on Mars.
The Port Neches River Fest. We're trying to get him established here on this deal.
Oh, there he goes.
On your screen, Mike.
Mars, he's back.
He just popped in.
Hey.
Maybe that's going to work.
Was that going to work? Let's see.
Yeah. It looks
Brandon,
a lot better.
Can you talk to us?
He's got to unmute.
You have to unmute yourself, sir. So when you get unmuted there.
There you go.
Can you hear me now?
We
much
can hear
better.
you now.
I'm hanging out in the back of a car so I can get the signal.
No, that's good. Where are you speaking to us from?
I'm actually at a car show in Bridge City right now at the KC Hall.
I see. Where's Bridge City?
It is probably 15 minutes from me. It's over the bridge.
I got you.
Kind of
It's
right outside of the county.
Between Port Neches and Orange.
Yes.
Okay. That.
There you go.
Okay. So you're part of the C10 Truck Club?
Yes, sir. C10 Club Texas and C10 Soul Texas.
Uh-huh. And you guys are the ones that are putting on the car show part of this?
At the Riverfest, yes, sir. We do the car show. Last year we had about a little over 200 cars.
That's a good turnout.
Yeah.
Do you have to pre-register
average.
or you just show up?
You can pre-register with the Chamber of Commerce, or you just show up and it's $5 more.
Okay. And what kind of cars? Is it limited?
It's pretty much any make or model, but it's probably 95% classics, and we have a few bikes, and then there's a couple of newer style vehicles that are kind of done up, but it's mainly classics.
So is it going to be a great big party over there?
More than likely, yeah. There's probably, I don't know the number that go through during the weekend, but it's probably 30, 40,000 people, I guess.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Now,
The Riverfest is on the water, and they got boat races, and then there's a little carnival and all kinds of stuff.
Cool.
I'm looking forward to it. I was asking Mike, not that he would know, but do you have any kind of boat races?
Yeah, they race. I don't remember they've got like 4 classes. They race the little pickle fork jobbers that do 100-something miles an hour all the way down to like a little Thunder Bomber division. It's like V-holes. But it's a nationwide tour, and they stop here every year. So that's the main draw, really, is everybody's on the water watching, the boat races.
Now, I'm going to date myself here, okay? Because I remember my first boat race was a
You're
long,
gonna
long...
date yourself because nobody else will.
No, you do all the time, as a matter of fact. But way back when, there was a boat race on the Fox River in Waukesha, Wisconsin, and I think it was a 4th of July kind of thing, whatever it was. But it was great fun. But all I can remember is the smell of castor oil that somehow in these motors... Are you familiar with that?
Hey, if you could make that in a cologne or racing fuel in a cologne, somebody would make millions.
Well, direct from... Where is your home? What city is your home in?
I live in Port Neches, so I live in the same town that the Riverfest is
Oh, okay.
at.
All right. So you're in Port Neches. Well, in small towns, where Waukesha, Wisconsin was a small town, it was a big deal. I mean, we didn't have all this stuff that we've got in a big city like Houston. And we had a big carnival on the 4th of July, and they had boat races on the river right there in front. And I assume, in my mind, I envision this for the Port Neches Riverfest. And all I could think of was these really, really, really fast boats with the great big rooster tail. Mm-hmm. And they had like a half-mile circuit on the river that they go round and round and round. But the smell of castor oil being burned through an internal combustion engine was something else.
We used to do it on the Detroit River with the big thunderboats, the big ones.
Like the Miss Budweiser and stuff.
We used to go down there every year and watch them.
Yeah.
They'd be traveled in, the boat would be sideways on a flatbed.
Yes. Because it's so wide.
So they crane them and drop them in the water. Well, place them in the water.
Yeah, we should have that down at Clear Lake. But at any rate, I regress. I know that this is the car show, and we talk about cars. And so where do you draw cars from? Just your area over there in the Golden Triangle?
Pretty much. I'm being kind of modest, but I think pound for pound, we probably have some of the nicest classics around here. There's a lot of old timers with some really, really high quality vehicles. So we pretty much grab them from about 3 counties wide, I guess you would say.
Are you going to show your truck?
I bring it, but I don't let it win anything.
Would it win something if you let it?
Probably.
Listen to him. He's being modest. Yeah. What kind of truck do you have?
But I don't do. I've got a '69 with a '67 clip. It's been the C10 truck of the year twice, so it's pretty nice.
Yeah. That's not a daily driver, I assume.
Good guys.
It's not a daily driver.
I put about 50 miles on it a year.
50, getting it on and off the trailer at car shows.
That's right.
Yeah. What is your daily driver?
I've got a little round eye, a little '79 short bed I drive around and play with, and that's what I'm in right now. I try to keep something kind of cool, just to run around town so people see me.
Yeah. What do you do for a living?
Build the C10 scene.
What do you do for a living?
I'm a operator. I'm an operator at a natural gas facility in Beaumont.
Okay.
You ever heard of Spindletop?
Yeah. I've been there.
Well, we're actually on the hill, and we got natural gas caverns drilled in the hill in the salt dome.
Interesting. In the same salt dome as Spindletop?
Correct.
That's very interesting. And I
didn't know that.
I actually did a video over there at the Spindletop Museum, which is a very interesting place. And you have to really want to go there because it's not that easy to find. But it's pretty cool. So,
people don't realize they're still pulling oil off the hill. It's crazy.
It is crazy. Did you grow up there?
I grew up in Port Neches.
Uh-huh. Very nice. Well, all right. How much does it cost to get in to see the car show?
If you pre-register, it's $20. If you register the day of, it's $25, and that comes with a day pass to the Riverfest, and you get a free shirt.
How much does it cost to get into the Riverfest itself?
Nah, so you're asking me a question I don't even know. I got that VIP, so I don't ever pay. I don't think it's probably much more than that. Maybe $40, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I was looking at the flyer here, and I can't tell.
I can't tell.
Let me see that.
Here. Good luck and see.
Yeah, I think you get a week pass for next to nothing.
Yeah. Is it an all-week event?
It is. They're actually turning it into a 2-week deal eventually. But yeah, it's.
Well, I think there at the park, it's Wednesday through Sunday.
Put your mic up to your mouth there, Mike.
Yeah, it's most of the week. I don't know the exact days.
Yeah, I think they've got some other off-site stuff, but I think when they crank up in the park, it's actually Wednesday to Sunday.
How fun.
They're talking about next year flipping it for a 2-weekend deal. So start it like Saturday through the next Sunday.
It's
now,
either 40 or 48.
How do we get there? I've never even been to Port Neches, I don't think.
GPS, man. 601 Grizzly.
Ask a question, get a simple answer.
Here, I'll give a plug out to these guys. Just type in the Wheelhouse Restaurant, and that'll get you pretty much right next to it.
True. Very true.
Wheelhouse Restaurant.
Yeah, it's a restaurant there on the river.
Okay.
They got food and adult beverages if you like those.
Well,
and is that going to be where the car show is as well?
We're losing.
No, I think we lost it.
We're up by the rides.
Yeah.
Okay.
The way
Y'all hear me?
The car show is actually in the park itself. The Wheelhouse is a restaurant that's outside the park, but it's next door. It's adjacent. Sitting down on the river.
The Wheelhouse.
The Wheelhouse.
Okay.
It's in walking distance.
Oh, yeah. Stagger back. It's easy.
Stagger back.
Yeah.
Is that a phrase in Port Neches?
That's a friend of Stagger Lee.
Yeah.
Stagger back.
All right. Well, Brandon, we look forward to it.
See you in a couple of weeks.
Yep. 2 weeks.
All right, guys.
Be prepared.
All right. Thank y'all for having me. Y'all have a good one.
Thank you. Be prepared for mayhem.
I want a T-shirt.
We was out there yesterday looking at the park, seeing where we were going to be and stuff.
Well, I hope that we have internet service better than that.
And shade.
Yeah.
Shade and electricity.
We're going to be
that.
underneath the. We're going to be underneath one of the trees, but we're going to bring our canopy just in case. But there's lots of trees
or
there.
a can of corn.
Fans. Oh, we need to bring some fans.
It's not going to be that. It's going to be nice.
Just
no, people to cheer us on while we're there.
Yeah,
those kind of fans.
Those guys will be there already.
And they don't even know who we are.
Some of them do, yeah.
You think?
Yes, sir.
Have you been beating the bushes and telling everybody about us over there?
Yes, sir. Drive around in the truck all the time.
Yeah.
Grandkids hiding their eyes like they're embarrassed, that kind of thing.
Is the new
We do that.
Oh, I thought they were doing the dab.
is the new In Wheel Time logoed truck going to be ready for the big trip for the Hot Rod Tour of Texas next weekend?
Yes.
Didn't he hear the conversation
No,
when we first
he
started?
didn't.
Well, but that was 2 hours ago. He's already slept since then.
I was trying to have the conversation on the air.
Yes, it will be.
Yes.
He's got to pick it up Thursday from Gulf Coast.
Are you picking it up?
Nope.
I was talking to him.
So John called me yesterday and said that
When he told you before, you don't remember.
I do, but we didn't have the conversation on the air. This was off the air. I'm trying to make a conversation so the people that are watching the show know what we're talking about.
Yes,
I'm with you. John called me and said that they did the paint work. They decided they were going to treat the paint work, do some of his paint protection stuff on it, which I'm blessed that he decided to do that. I mean, it's the paint. The truck's in good shape. Don't get me wrong, but he just does such magical things. I've seen what he did with your Corvette. I'm really anxious to see what he did with the truck. I mean, but so they took everything off of it, got it down to the base white. And they've treated the paint on it. They've got all the logos and all the graphics ready to go. Got everything ready to go. But one of the guys had a family emergency. Had to take off a couple of days. Threw him a couple of days late. Says it will be ready by Wednesday. So I'm going to pick it up here Thursday from John. Come over to the studio, load up all the gear, and
spend the night with you, and then head out Friday morning.
No.
Sleep.
I
out
won't
here in
be
the
here
garage.
Thursday.
Yeah.
I'll be gone.
He'll be gone by that time. And then he's headed to
So you can
Victoria.
go drink his brown water.
Ooh, I didn't think about that.
I got some nice stuff in there,
Yeah.
some TX.
I can sleep on your couch.
I like the TX.
Why? You got a guest bedroom in there. You can use that.
Yeah, that's true. No, I'm going to Seguin. You're headed to Victoria. I don't think I could get to Victoria in time, so I'm going to go to Seguin
to meet up with us.
Meet up with you at the CY Distillery Friday morning when you get there.
Of course you are. You're going to go to the distillery.
You got to start somewhere.
I'll meet you, David, and I'll meet you about 1 o'clock.
In New Braunfels.
Snooker faced.
It's Samson Performance.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right.
So it should be fun. We'll put some interviews together and stuff. So we're recording everything that we can, up to and including when we go to the drive-in Friday night, we're going to try and do some recording
Lawrence of Arabia.
Yeah, get you up there where you're.
He went to fight the
screen.
Turkish. He's an English kind of guy.
And then we'll put it all together, and that'll be our show for Saturday morning.
Don's going to dress in theme.
I am. Actually, I'm going to go as the Major Domo.
Oh, boy.
Do you remember that scene?
At the piano, the violin guy?
No, not the violin.
He's
No, that's the one arm violinist.
Just the Hyundai
No,
guy.
I'm not gonna reprise that role. But
come on, Don.
I will do the Major Domo at the pep rally in the gym.
Oh, okay. Oh, God.
Volare.
Oh.
Good stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. So it should be a really fun.
You don't even
thing
know what we're
to do.
talking about, do you, Mars?
Yeah, I do. But
Do
I'm
you?
going back to the conversation about the tour because I'm excited about it. I think it's
Mars
gonna
is
be a lot
going
of
to
fun.
show up as the arigato. So between the two of you, it'll be Domo Arigato.
I've got that. And I can see
and,
him
and
in
Jeff
that.
can be Mr. Roboto.
Mr. Roboto. Mm-hmm.
I don't know what we're
How
going to do with
did we get
David.
there?
We got to fit David in there somewhere.
Oh, we'll fit David in there. There's no doubt about it.
David fits anywhere.
I'm not
David
exactly
fits
sure
anywhere.
what we'll have him dressed as, but he'll be dressed as something.
Okay.
Yeehaw! It's going to be fun.
New bomb Turk.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
I've got some stories that I can do right here, and I'm going to do them in the order that I have them. Then you've not heard them before yet.
Okay.
I have some recalls to tell you about.
Of course.
The Tesla Model X for 2023 is being recalled because the rear view image may not be displayed. The rear HVAC electrical circuit may overheat on the Chevrolet Express cutaway van or the GMC Savannah from 2003 to 2023. That's a lot.
Yeah.
I didn't know that they're still making that thing.
They don't make very many, but they still make them.
I didn't know that. Did you know that?
Yeah. Yeah, because when we bought when I was working for BG and we bought the Ford Transit, I looked at getting another GM because we have a Chevy van as well, but they didn't do the high top, and they weren't doing a high top, and they had no plans of doing a high top, and I didn't want to get a high top conversion just so I could stand up in the back of it, so we ended up buying the Ford Transit, and that worked out well with a $13,000 engine.
Yeah,
twice.
Engine and then get wrecked.
Uh-huh.
Incorrect rear tail lights are installed on the Land Rover Range Rover Sport for 2023, so it's getting a recall, as is the insufficiently welded second row seat frame in the Land Rover Range Rover for 2022 and 2023. Let's buy one of those.
Yeah, especially when the incorrect tail lights are there and you get hit from behind and then the seat pulls out of the floor.
Yeah. Lock tab missing from the head restraint in the BMW X5 for 2023. The damaged tire bead may cause a loss of air pressure on the Subaru Ascent for 2023. I still think that I have a leaking tire on the Corvette, but that's another story. We'll move on with this. The small crossover, the 2024 Buick Envista. It's a new one. You've heard this?
No.
Mm-mm. Small crossover, be GM's final new gasoline-powered nameplate before it shifts to all-electric by 2030. The Envista will replace the Encore subcompact crossover, which debuted in 2012 as Buick's entry-level model. It'll be the first Buick to draw total design inspiration from the brand's Wildcat electric vehicle concept, which tells me that it may have a gasoline motor in it now, but it'll be ready to do the electric conversion when it's time. And all the Envista's trims, including the top-end Avenir, will start at less than $30,000, including shipping. A strategy to attract younger buyers at a time when affordability concerns have pushed some consumers out of the new car market. The Envista will come with a 1.2-liter turbocharged mini motor and a 6-speed automatic transmission offering 136 horsepower, 162 pound-feet of torque. The Envista's fuel economy is a GM estimated 30 miles per gallon. Pretty good. Pricing starting at $23,495 for a Buick. Just saying.
Not a bad price.
Yeah, very good.
Hyundai accelerating the rollout of a software upgrade for vehicles not equipped with engine immobilizers as part of its response to the nationwide hot wiring frenzy spurred by social media posts showing how to easily steal models lacking the anti-theft device. At the same time, AAA is stepping up to help Hyundai secure insurance coverage for owners of affected vehicles following State Farm and Progressive's decision to stop writing new policies for models without immobilizers. The initial Hyundai upgrade announced Friday, covering more than 1 million 2017 through 2020 Elantra, 15 to 19 Sonatas, 2020 to 21 Venue model years, and the automaker promised availability to the remaining eligible vehicles by June.
Of a club.
The faster rollout will now include all 3.8 million affected Hyundai models.
Whoa.
Ouch.
2 center mass and 1 to the head. Stops recidivism.
The upgrade can be performed at any Hyundai dealership, takes less than an hour for installation once it gets to the mechanic. The crisis ignited last summer after a TikTok video showed viewers how to easily remove the Kia or Hyundai vehicle's steering wheel column and trigger the ignition using a USB plug. The number of car thefts rose sharply, starting in Wisconsin and quickly trickling into other states. All right. Chrysler recalling 131,700 2021 Ram 1500 vehicles in North America equipped with the 5.7-liter e-torque engine for an engine stall risk. Powertrain control module software may create an incorrect fuel mixture in the engine, which can stall the engine. It's estimated that 100% of these vehicles have the defect, according to NHTSA. Owners will be notified by mail beginning June the 2nd. So if it hasn't stalled yet, it's still a chance.
It's about to.
Rivian Automotive is rapidly building a proprietary fast charge network, given the poor state of third-party charging, and will open it up to the public as early as next year, according to company executives. Fast charging network is exclusive to Rivian owners right now, but will open to the public and help alleviate the shortage of reliable, fast-charging sites for EV owners.
Think about that now. You've got, Tesla's putting up fast charge, direct charge sites. Rivian's got them. General Motors and Mercedes have both talked about them. Mm-hmm. So instead of going to your Exxon station, you've got to go to your fast charge station, and hopefully enough of them work that you can plug into.
Let me ask you something. Why isn't every little bitty food mart on every corner installing a fast charger? Or if nothing else, just a charger?
Well,
I don't understand.
You would think even these, like the Rivian or the Tesla or the GM or the Mercedes one, there's going to be a fee involved. I know you talked about you had to have a certain card over at Whole Foods.
Yep.
So there's a profit.
EVgo.
Yeah, there's a profit center. There's a profit source.
Correct.
For that person that puts that charger up. I don't know why they wouldn't do it.
Well, I think you have to look at a 7-Eleven, a quick serve, whatever you want to call them. You go in there and you're out. A charger, you're going to have to spend at least 30 minutes there.
So?
30, 45 minutes there. Well, what are you going to do? You're going to twiddle your thumbs? It's not like you can go into Walmart. You can't go into work. You can't do something else. You're just going to sit there and twiddle your thumbs.
The Tesla one in Beaumont's right there by Papados. So it's right across from Papados. Right, you can go in and eat. So
that's kind of pricey to go to Papados.
Do you know of a stop and go that doesn't have at least a taco stand inside it or outside of it? I don't. I mean, every gas station that I go into these days, there's a woman making tacos in there. Well, just last week I bought one.
Send your comments.
Well,
to
I don't think.
Yeah,
I don't think it, and I don't think the volume of vehicles. I mean, because it's pretty pricey. You're going to have to put in all new electric feed into the building to be able to handle that.
But you're talking about going in and eating a meal that you think is going to take 20 minutes or 30 minutes. You don't need to do that on a fast charger. If you go in there for 10 minutes and get a 10-minute
push a charge,
get yourself a 10-minute bump.
Yeah, bump on it.
You're good to go for another 20, 30 miles.
Well, but
I don't know.
I think it goes back to, again, like Tesla. How many Tesla drivers stop at a quick serve? I mean,
how many goes to a Tesla store and wait around for 30 minutes while your car? There's nothing to do there. Well, you've already bought the damn car.
The Tesla charging station there in Beaumont was actually quite busy. The new one that
it was the only one.
Yeah, they had like 12 ports to charge at, and they're actually just putting a Tesla charging station in by my house at Louetta and 249.
And I'm going to stop in over there and a whole trunk full of Tiddlywinks. So while you were in there, you can buy.
Don was going to pull up and sell tacos out of the back.
I wasn't sure what he was going to
out of the back of the Corvette.
I could sell Tiddlywink games for $10 a whack.
No, rent them.
Rent them. Okay.
I'd like to rent a Tiddlywink.
Please. Tiddlywink for $2. Please.
I wouldn't imagine doing less than 2 tiddlies.
I got to go. We'll be right back after this.
Are you a car enthusiast? Come experience the 27th annual Keels and Wheels Classic Car and Boat Show. Join us Saturday, May 6th and Sunday, May 7th at the Lakewood Yacht Club in Seabrook. This fun family event features vintage and contemporary race cars from Le Mans, Indy, Formula One, NASCAR, and much more. See classic and vintage boats of all types, not to mention American and European pre- and post-war classics. Pre-sale tickets are $30. Students are just $15. Children 12 and under are free. Purchase your tickets today at keelsandwheels.com.
Everyone at the Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In at the Lupe Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy, thank you for participating in the best cruise in around and look forward to seeing you again. You'll hear about the next cruise in date right here on In Real Time. Next time you're in the West Houston Energy Corridor area, be sure and stop in at the original Lupe Tortilla Tex-Mex at I-10 and Highway 6 or the Katy location on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard. When passing through Beaumont or College Station, stop in and have Lupe's award-winning beef fajitas and frozen margaritas. There's always a celebration at Lupe Tortilla. Lupe Tortilla founder Stan Holt and his wife Sheila are winning racers on the NHRA drag racing circuit and have a collection of hot rods and classics that everyone appreciates. Look for them at the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In. The date will be announced soon and will once again be held at the Lupe Tortilla Tex-Mex on 99 and Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10 and Katy. We'll give you all the details right here on the In Real Time Car Talk Show and online. Donations benefit God's Garage. We'll see you then. You own a car you love. Well, why not let Gulf Coast Auto Shield protect it? Houstonian John Gray invites you to his state-of-the-art facility to introduce you to his specialist team of auto enthusiasts. We promise you'll be impressed. Whether you're looking to massage your original paint to a like-new appearance, apply a ceramic coating, install a paint protection film, nano-ceramic window tint, or new windshield protection called ExoShield, Gulf Coast Auto Shield is where Houston's car people go. Well, that's a wrap for this week's In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. When you're online, check out our Facebook page, please. Give us a like if you will. Tell your friends about us and share our junk.
All right.
You'll get Conrad's Unicorn hunting features, along with all things automotive all week long, including new car reviews, cruise-ins, upcoming events, and other informative and entertaining car and talk goodies. You can find the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app. Be sure to catch In Wheel Time Car Talk on our live video stream on Facebook, YouTube, and InWheelTime.com every Saturday, 8 to 11 Central. Daily 30-minute podcasts are available from over a dozen of the most popular podcast providers. The In Wheel Time Chief Engineer is David Ainsley. Our Marketing Advertising Advisor and Video Technical Director is We Need More, Jeff Zekin. For Booking Agent and Podcast Pumpkin, Mike Bars. Along with Mr. Know-It-All is Royalty King Conrad DeLong. I'm Don Armstrong. Next week, we're live and on the Hot Rod Tour of Texas, a 3-hour extravaganza right here on the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show, Saturday, April 29th, 2023, on all of these In Wheel Time Car Talk outlets. Right here on the Smoke and Mirrors Network. Have a great weekend. So long for now.